This is different, and I love it, man, because it got me thinking like I was back at school again. I don't even know where you come up with these questions. I want to know how you do these kids. You're so innovative. I'm like, look, I mean, your mind is good, like you say. You're a history teacher, and your mind is going all over the place. So,
and it's also wonderful to hear people talk sanely to each other.
You have something amazing going with the show because you're there and you're educating us.
Sure. Your platform gives us the opportunity to really let our guard down. And I never told anybody in public about that experience with my dad. And on your platform, I don't know why I did that, because it's so comfortable and we're talking about things that matter.
I love the little anecdote of comedy with your would you pay for it? Would you not? I love that. I love how you added that in to kind of break up the tension a little bit, because it gets serious.
We want to know people's stories,
I concur.
And that's what TKN does, So I love it.
First name Michaela, last name Skinner. Welcome, my friend, to round 2 of the tournament.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, this was seriously such a blast. I was so excited to come on here. Yeah, it's been incredible. I've had so much fun being here. I appreciate it.
Uplifting human being. Last name Ferrigno, first name Lou. Lou, welcome, my friend.
Thank you. That's the best introduction I've ever heard in my life. You know something? You need to quit the show and be my moderator.
Together for a majestic, out of this world, one-of-a-kind human being. First name Vivica, last name Fox. Welcome, my friend.
Whoa, that was an awesome introduction. Let me tell you that. I don't think I've ever had anyone read my resume with such flow.
Avi is a poet, but he doesn't know it, but his feet show it.
You're unbelievable.
Last name Wilkins, first name Lenny. Lenny, welcome, my friend, to the celebrity tournament.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to this. It should be fun.
Last name Murphy, first name Calvin. Calvin, welcome to the tournament, my friend.
Damn. You said it just like I wrote it.
You gave me good eargasm tonight, man. I love your voice. I love the things that you talk about.
Well, you're the best I've seen. You're the Michael Jordan or LeBron James, whoever you want to make the GOAT.
This is why your audiences love you. This is why you continue to great guests, and great guests beget great guests.
And to listen to you speak, man, kind of remind me of one of my friends was Tip O'Neill, the Speaker of the House. And what a smooth voice he had. Your voice and the way you project everything and share with your heart. You got an incredible gift as well.
I just want to do this again and again. I feel like I've made friends. And again, I've taken the competition part of it out because I've just enjoyed talking to you guys tonight.
Oh, man, most definitely. This is, I think, my top. I mean, because when you do the intro you gave me, I got to give it to you. I like
you deserve it.
It really, truly kind of blows my mind every time when we can get this many people together, thinking, mind melding, positive, not having to agree all the time with everything, but not getting ugly about it. And it's just, I feel like it's a microcosm of what it could be.
Did you have a nice time tonight in the green room?
I had a great time. I can't tell you how refreshing it is that somebody knows what they're doing.
Let's give it up for the one and only, the charismatic Vincent Pastore.
You're a poet and you don't know it.
No.
Or not podcast. I guess it's like we're just a show now. You're a show. You're a full-blown show.
I can count my friends on one hand. Well, wait, on one finger. You.
Oh, man. Thank you so much, my friend. Because if you don't heal from what hurts you, you'll bleed on people that never even cut you to begin with. It had nothing to do with your pain.
All right.
So
Tell him.
You guys are bringing the best out of me.
I mean, yes, pain is inevitable. I mean, there's a reason we have these sensors in our body. I mean, they're warning signs. In other words, something hurts. Obviously, something is amiss.
But she would sit at the kitchen table looking out the window for quite a period of time while the food was getting prepared. And I wish I had took that time to sit down with her and ask her questions about her being a child, along with my aunts, my uncles, so I can not only be a blessing to her and know more and sympathize and love her more as a mother, but also to know more about myself and my sisters and understand where we've come from.
This thing has drawn me out of myself and thereby drawn me into myself. But I learned a lot. And from you, Avi, I always learned something from you.
Continue to work as hard as you can, because by working, Avi, you will keep yourself busy and get used to the grief.
Questions now more underrated. We have Billy D. Williams, Italian men named Skippy, or unicycle.
I'm sorry, Italian men named Skippy. Put me away, Abby.
Archie Bunker, the mountain climber, Ralph Cramden, the yoga instructor, or Don Corleone, the computer repair person.
It's clearly an issue with the hard drive.
I'm going to go Don Corleone.
Here, the reason I'm going for Christmas is because it does create those amazing memories that I've and Sarge, I know you've been there too, because I've seen you at so many different great events for Muscular Dystrophy Association.
You compete with yourself. The Joe Reed, especially working with him, taking pictures in the magazine, helping me to shape my body and educate my mind.
There are those of us who like to venture to the unexplored, to see the beauty in the strange and unknown. Those of us who go out there with a sense of wonder.
God, matters not how straight the gate, how punishment charged the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
There is nothing that was on TV tonight that even remotely rivals what we did on this broadcast.
Hi, I'm Rick Barry, a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame and one of the NBA's top 50 players. And I'm really excited to tell you about my new relationship in the broadcasting world with the new network.
It's TKN, and a young man named Avi Klein has poured his blood, sweat, and tears into creating this new network and assembling an amazing group of individuals.
Legends from every walk of life who are just bringing their knowledge and their experience and their wisdom and This is amazing. I feel like this is a cosmic convergence of what is most important to him, and he's such a stand-up guy.
Avi, congratulations. I don't know anybody that can talk as much as you. Seriously, I thought I could talk. You are unreal. What you do it with class, understanding, professionalism. You're simply amazing. I told you that when I first met you, and you ran off my autobiography. It basically was a book. It was simply fantastic. And to think that you do that every show.
It's very respectful, and he really connects with the artists and his audiences. And I felt like this guy's on to something, and I'm proud to be a part of this with him.
And I really thank your support. I lost my father, and you were the first person to support me in all that, and I thank you so much for that.
The greatest wealth is when you can share it with someone. You can share your victories, you can share your failure, you can express your deepest feelings, but the greatest wealth is to be able to say that I have a friend. And I feel an unbelievable level of wealth, and a lot of that is because I have somebody like you.
Bro, are you here to win the whole darn tournament?
I don't play. I just win.
Robert, would you like to win this entire tournament?
You know, all those luminaries and athletes and strongmen notwithstanding, the most dangerous place on this show is between me and that prize. That's all I'm going to say.
You're chomping at the bit to get in this thing.
Oh, yeah, man. I've been telling you, brother. You brought up some names to me, and I was like, I can't wait. I hope they don't see me, because it's going to be on like a steaming pot of neck bones, baby, and I'm not playing.
Are you here to win the entire thing, my friend?
I'll just say this, Avi. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
But are you here to win the entire celebrity tournament when it's all said and done?
And I saw a very familiar face in Mike Rotundo, better known as IRS, and he said that he was here for the winner chicken dinner, and I want to take away that chicken dinner. So yes, I want to win this whole shebang.
Last name Smith, first name Joe. Joe Smith, welcome, my friend.
Oh my God, Avi! Where did you get all of that from? Oh my God!
Guys and gals and pals, welcome to yet another Saturday night. I'm feeling really good, but I want to start with 3 words that you probably didn't expect to hear from me. I don't know. I don't know. And I love those 3 words. And the reason why is because, and I'll be as condensed as possible because, gosh, we've got Alex English and Sidney Moncrief, perhaps a mystery participant, as you saw. We'll see if this person could sign in. But guys and gals and pals, I don't know. I want to learn because, as I always try to tell you guys, what I earn is what I learn. I won't give you anything long-winded, but I'll remind you that this past calendar year has had ups and downs. My dad passed away. He was my best friend. He was also a teacher who never meant to teach. I think those are some of the best teachers. I've reconnected as a former history teacher with some of my colleagues. I've rediscovered my friendship with my mom. I'm now friends with her after some distance. And when it comes to the 152 Hall of Famers and award winners from the world of sports, music, wrestling, not to mention Oscar, Grammy, Tony, Emmy, Golden Globe, and AMA representatives that are part of this celebrity tournament, the prize will belong to one when it comes to something of monetary value. But I receive the prize every time I'm here, and that's from my heart, because I am sitting back and learning from such classy, intelligent, experienced, knowledgeable human beings. I don't want to use a generalization and say that everyone has forgotten to show respect to their elders. But let's never forget to show respect to the elders before us. Let's never forget. Let's remind ourselves, guys and gals and pals, that what we earn is what we learn. I make a living writing screenplays, and I've been doing that for 23 and a half years. I write for the best, and I started this network because I believed that we can be the best. And friendships have been forged, and we've gotten to know each other through this seemingly cold device called a laptop and a microphone. And if we're able to connect through these cold, distant devices, that says a lot about us. It says we can be what we dream to be. But as great as dreams are, guys, they have nothing on reality. Because reality can surely deliver more so than any dream could. So let's not make this a fantasy. Let's make this a reality. Let's make our neighbor's life better. Let's make our friend's life better. It doesn't have to take a lot of time from your day. You should prioritize. But how are you doing? How are you feeling? How was your week? It goes a long way. If we don't show the others around us that we care, how will they show others around them that they do? That's all I'm saying, guys. So, guys, I promise no more Yoda or fortune cookie stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's the celebrity tournament, and we call this a sport of the mind. Because, guys, I don't mind reminding you that this is a place where strangers leave as friends. We have philosophical fun. 4.5 million strong. Amazon Prime, thank you for believing in us. They just ordered 6 episodes for round number 3 of this tournament. And the way it works is you guys vote, but voting is a good thing. When you're voting as you did in round number 1 and parts of round 2, when you're voting online, you're essentially letting the speaker know that they resonated with you. That's a good thing. So, guys, again, this is Sidney Moncrief, Alex English, perhaps a mystery participant who will move on to round number 3 of the tournament. Round number 3 does begin in the fall. It does begin in the fall. And, of course, we have 6 total rounds. At the end of the day, one person will go to Greece 5 days, 5 nights, win 15 grand. That'll probably increase even more as time goes on. And we do want to thank, of course, our national sponsor, Progresso Soup, who have been absolutely amazing. Going to give them a plug they deserve a bit later on. So, guys, let's do what we're doing over here, and let's start off with our first participant, Mr. Sidney Moncrief, then Mr. Alex English. Guys and gals, and of course, the Mr. will always precede their name. Let's give them the respect they deserve, not just for their fantastic resume, but what they've done after said resume and building a new one. It's incredible, inspirational. Guys, a smile is the light in your window that tells others that there's a caring, sharing person inside. Legendary poet Walt Whitman said, "I'm a friend of all, comrade of all who shake my hand, and welcome all who bring respect." And the above rings true when describing my next guest because he's a beacon of light that remains oh so bright. He's taken a blank canvas and filled it with beautiful, honest, and innovative works of art that not only highlight his artistry, but the emphasis he places on humanity, as his heart always helps guide others.
Great opportunity to coach some great young guys. But I had unbelievable players there. Think in terms of Sidney Moncrief. We could go on and on. We were the best defensive team in the league then. I had Sidney Moncrief. Understand the importance of citizenship and to be a great leader and a great team player. Teams in Milwaukee were bigger. They were the best teams that I coached. He was the heart and soul of that team. He was one of the very best at his position for a long, long time. The things that he can do and the skills that he has, he's a perfect leader.
But I'm going to go back to the first book I wrote, and it would be titled Reinvent You. The title would be Reinvent You, because I really believe that we should not ever feel like a failure defines who we are. We should never feel like we can't make an adjustment in our lifestyle, in our career, in our relationships, and that we have to always constantly be innovative in reinventing who we are in some shape, form, or fashion. I didn't really think I would play in the NBA. I never watched the NBA game and said, one day that would be me. That was just so far away from me that I never thought that would happen. But one thing we always tell young people and we tell CEOs and people that are doing mentoring, is that you really can't be what you can't see.
It took me all of, I'm not a mathematician, 30 seconds to realize I liked Sidney Moncrief as a human being. Gosh almighty, that is the truth. He has always got a wonderful smile, a great big heart, and man, oh man, his mind inspires so many. Our third participant, guys and gals, or I should say, our first participant in this second round match, hoping to go to round 3, is a man that aspires to inspire, and he's done just that. He was the second youngest of 7 children and was raised by his mother, Bernice Perkins. She did that all for her children. She maintained discipline years before he won awards, honors, and he picked up the wins. He was assigned specific household chores he had to complete, and he had to do them right. When his mother returned from her job as a maid at Howard Johnson's motel, be it light or night, her commitment to excellence helped her son become a star among stars that would shine ever so bright. When he wasn't working at home, he was often fighting near it, developing his defensive skills early. You had to stand your ground when the kids were tiny or even burly. You never wanted to show that you could be dominated in any way like a silly stooge named Curly. I always say that the sweat is the sweet, as good old-fashioned labor can never lead to defeat. Let me illustrate to you all, guys and gals and pals, how things stood. Our luminary's friendship in a Boy Scout troop and hard work in his family's garden was oh so good, and it helped him dodge the crime and drugs of his current, back then, neighborhood. He began playing on the basketball team, guys and gals and pals, as a student at Dunbar Junior High School in the 7th grade and 8th grades. And soon his defense would suffocate you. You couldn't see daylight, even with the shades. You had nowhere to go, like the villains running for cover during Indiana Jones and his many crusades. Once he enrolled in Hall High in Little Rock, he made the varsity team as the scouts went, hey, let's recruit a man that wouldn't let his opponent see the light of day, as he was named to several high school All-American teams as a senior while putting up a 3.8 GPA. As he prepared to graduate from high school, there was zero doubt that he was a crown jewel, and he was heavily recruited by LSU, Arkansas State University, and the U of A Razorbacks. The scouts couldn't relax, as they were all chomping at the bit to sign a talent as versatile as the Greek hero Ajax. Although it was then, guys and gals and pals, known back then primarily as a football school, he eventually chose U of A because it had a new coach, Eddie Sutton, who was ushering in a new exciting brand of basketball. He ended up a team member of Ron Brewer and Marvin Delph, and boy oh boy, would these three stand tall. In 1977, he and his teammates won the Southwest Conference Championship, and the next year the team made it to the NCAA Final Four. Before his senior year, the school was glad that he stayed. But right around this time, he married his girlfriend Deborah, whom he had known since 3rd grade. After he graduated in 1979, guys and gals and pals, with a Bachelor of Science degree in physical education, he entered the NBA draft, and he was the 5th player chosen overall by the Bucks in the 1st round. It's worth noting that Jerry West made quite the sound, as he wanted this man over Magic Johnson because he felt he was a more complete player pound for pound. It's now time for me to bring up this man's many accolades, which never go out of fashion, like members only or high top fades. He was the SWC Player of the Year in 1979. He was a consensus first team All-American in 1979. He won the league's first 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards in 83 and 84. In his 10 seasons with the Bucks, he was an All-Star 5 times and a 5-time All-NBA player. He's a 4-time All-NBA defensive first team player. Heck, I mean, the award was practically made for him. He was the head coach at the University of Arkansas Little Rock for the 99-2000 season. He was an assistant coach for the Milwaukee Bucks and also commented on their games, and he's also authored books. He launched the Career Professional Development Center in Little Rock in 2017, and the center is a nonprofit organization that helps develop adults and young people. The Milwaukee Bucks retired his number 4 jersey in 1990 and rededicated it in 2008. He was inducted into the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame in 93, the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame in 98, and the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2019. He guided the Bucks to 3 conference final appearances in the East Heavy 80s. The man has done it all, yet he remains grounded and provides many people glee. When he guarded, you might want to flee, whether you were a 6'2 guard or a 7'5" tree. These lyrics provide harmony, as if they were sung by Jermaine Dupri. So give it up like a wailing banshee for a man that is class personified, intelligent, and humble. Last name Moncrief. First name Sidney. Welcome, my friend, to round 2 of the tournament.
Hey, RV, how are you doing? You know what? I was stretching,
right?
Pulling things. I'm ready to play now. I'm ready to get out on the basketball court. That's right. You motivated me. You inspired me. You didn't motivate me. You inspired me. I want to give a shout out to Alex English.
Yes.
Alex played for the Bucks. I hope people realize that.
That's right. Before he played for the Nuggets.
That's right. Before he played on the Nuggets. And I watched them from afar. And normally great to me, generational type players, great players are players that as time moves on, you can't find a player like that. Alex fits in that category. His size, he was graceful, he could shoot, he could pass, he could post up, he could run the lane. Who in the NBA today or the last 25, 30 years could do all the things that he can do? So a shout out to Alex.
100%. I don't think a lot of fans maybe quite understand that Alex English's game transcended any era. when I watched him play, Sidney, there wasn't a moment where you felt Alex English was forcing any shots. There was never a moment where the man needed to have the ball in his hands to show somebody what he could do so it could make it on SportsCenter. He was so team-oriented, but when you did look at the box score, you couldn't help but see 28, 30 points, 4, 5, 6 assists, getting his teammates involved. I mean, you were on the floor with him. Do you concur, Sidney?
Oh, absolutely, because we ran that passing game, which meant all the players had to be in movement. You were not stationary, just playing
Sure.
a position. And Alex at 6'9" could make cuts to the basket. He can come back out, and he was very fluid with his motions offensively without the basketball. And you don't see that very much now. You didn't see it very much then with guys that size that could move with the grace and precision that Alex could move.
Oh, so well said. I think I might have mentioned this to Alex the last time, but when I was growing up, poetry was something I was passionate about, and then I happened to stumble upon Alex's poems before I stumbled upon Alex's game, and so I knew Alex English the poet before I knew Alex English the basketball player, and it was such a joy to tell him that. Sidney, I'm going to tell you this as well because you should hear it. Life is short. I'd rather tell people I'd rather be sappy than cynical in life, so I'll be sappy right now. You mean a lot to a lot of people, and I think a true friend is not someone that you have to speak with every day. A true friend is not someone you have to communicate with every day. A true friend is not someone who's needy, but you've become a real friend, and I say that because we're both sort of on the same path when it comes to giving so much of ourselves to people that don't have a voice, Sidney. So I thank you for that.
And thank you for checking on me. I was 6 for 10, 10 to 12 days, just down and not doing well. And you would call and check. You would say, "Get your butt well so you can get back on the show."
Not that part, but every other part. Oh man, I gotta ask you that. Yeah,
I do appreciate you. No,
of course.
Sincerely, I do appreciate you checking on me.
Anytime, my friend. And I guess I'll ask you the question. Our sponsor loves to hear it. Our audience loves to hear it. When you win a tournament like this, because it stands for something right, it stands for something pure. But at the end of the day, it's great to know, just like a pickup basketball game, if you've got some friends, hey, why not roll up the sleeves, have some good friendly competition? At the end of the day, there's a handshake, of course. Sidney, would you like to win the entire celebrity tournament?
Well, why show up if you don't want to win?
Sure.
I grew up in the era where you just didn't play for fun. You played to win games, and absolutely would love to win the tournament.
I would love that, my friend. I'm going to put you backstage for a mere moment, bring Alex English on screen, and then we'll all be here together. Thank you, my friend. Sidney Moncrief, guys. I'm going to bring him right back, guys, because Alex English is going to come into the virtual space here, and then all three of us will be on screen, and we'll start with topic number one. Guys and gals and pals. Again, you're wondering about the intros and video packages. It's my way of saying thank you to these men. It's my way of saying thank you to these women who are part of this too. It's showing them what they've done. Maybe they don't like the compliments, but too bad. We're going to compliment them for who they are and what they've done. They deserve it. They deserve it for giving back when the camera's not on. And that's what I think about when I think of Alex. I think of someone who's timeless in that sense. Timeless as a player, sure, of course, as Sidney and I were discussing, but timeless as a person because he does prioritize things that speak to humanity. And he's done something about it, whether it was raising money for a cause that nobody else really had thought of at the time, a benefit to those that in the continent of Africa couldn't do anything about. The man picked up the phone, called an agent, and made it happen. To me, that's as close as magic comes, guys. It's a magical moment to know that you can do something and create something that everybody else will consider, here's that word again, timeless. So even if there's an invisible fan that's never met an Alex English or a Sidney Moncrief, they should know that they've inspired people they've never even met. That might be the meaning of life. Guys, our next participant is class personified. His mother, she must be a modern-day prophet because she named her boy Alexander because she felt he would become great. And man, was she right. The bard Mr. Shakespeare said, if we are true to ourselves, we cannot be false to anyone. Some traverse near and far to see what they cannot see before them. But it took me, again, a very brief period of time to realize this man is authentic, genuine, kind, and highly intelligent. Again, back to Walt Whitman, he said, let your soul stand cool and composed before a million universes. Those words make me think of our next participant because he does epitomize that very quote.
He was a little touched, you know, but you could call it divinely touched, you know. He had something very fine about him, lofty. is about a man's making his own freedom and his own security. And you got to have that kind of courage. It's all just this one thing, a think, and the excitement you get out of having a think that you want to pass to other people. I like all that. I like to be called a humanist, I guess, pretty well. Take them and put my arms around them. No, but they were very nice to me. It was a very grand time I had. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. If I can with confidence say that still for another day and even another year, I will be there for you, my dear.
Principal at the high school. His name was Dr. Whittingham, and he always smoked a pipe. And he came in, he saw me in practicing one day, and he had this pipe in his hand. Didn't say a word. He just looked at me. I'm like working on my game, just thinking I'm doing something. And he had seen the finals and saw that I had my shot blocked. And he said, "Son, I know what you need to do." With smoking from his pipe, he said, "You need to change the arc of your shot." One of my favorite poems is "The Road Not Taken" by Robert Frost. And I would, I relate this poem to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he was in the Birmingham jail.
Absolutely inspirational. Guys and gals and pals, right now, I want to bring in Mr. Alex English. He grew up in a very segregated Columbia, South Carolina, and experienced racism, but he persevered, inspired many people through his kind heart, including this screenwriter who read his poetry from the start, as it grabbed me like an uppercut from Humphrey Bogart. He grew up in his grandmother's home where she did her part to prevent her family from succumbing to the gray, as the racist mindsets that they encountered throughout their day would never truly go away. His grandmother was a laundry presser who at times took care of many as 11 of her 13 grandchildren, guys and gals. 13 grandkids. She was incredible and made sure that her grandchildren were taken care of without worrying about closing their eyelid. She would soothe everyone with her presence and determination as she represents the unsung hero that we're grateful for in this nation. He grew up in downtown Columbia on Barnwell and Gervais, and he can remember places like the Shady Rest restaurant that had some of the best hash and rice around. As for dinner, guys and gals and pals, Fridays, Nell's restaurant served the best baked short ribs pound for pound. Sometimes the delicacies of our childhood are illustrated beautifully and innocently, part of our undenying legacy, like a pic of our ultrasound. But as a former U.S. history teacher, it upsets me to know that the real history of our country has been sold and locked away, as the powers that be pray to that nothing more than some cold, hard cash will always get in the way. Where the real heroes like the Buffalo Soldiers, the Freedom Riders, and more are ignored, just ask Diane Nash. Very soon he would develop a shot. It was so smooth and consistent, it was hard to block and oh so cool. He actually learned his jump shot from his principal in school. He attended Hand Junior High School and Dreer High School where he was a starter in 78 high school basketball games and averaged 31 points per game in his junior year. On the court, guys and gals and pals, you better steer clear and show no fear, because his many gifts on the hardwood spoke with authority, like a directive, guys and gals, an order from one King Lear. More than 100 colleges recruited him, but he decided to attend the University of South Carolina because he wanted to be close to home. He played for Hall of Fame coach Frank McGuire, who has more knowledge than even the mighty Google Chrome. In 1975, he was named All-American, and he knew that he would help, guys and gals, all others and all players, because when he would get to the NBA, he always experienced quite the feat. Entering the NBA, he did 13 years after being drafted. That number 13 was only unlucky for Jordan, Kareem, and Bird. Why? Because this man had more points than anyone in that incredible decade, and that's the word, you heard? After his rookie year, he never played in less than 78 games a year for the following 14 seasons. This Hall of Famer is one of the greatest of all time and about to list some reasons. I will now hit the pause on rhyme time to our viewers, so no need to be afraid. I'm about to mention this great man's many an accolade. He was named to the NBA All-Star team 8 years in a row from 82 to 89. He won the NBA scoring title in 83. No NBA player scored more points than him between 79 1989 and 1993, he was named to the All-NBA second team 3 years in a row from 82, 83, and 86. He was inducted, guys and gals and pals, to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in 1997. He won the J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award in 1988. He's the only player to average 24 points, 5+ rebounds, 4+ assists, while shooting 50% from the field in NBA playoffs history. He received the National Civil Rights Museum Sports Legacy Award in 2024 for his efforts to advance Dr. King's values. The Denver Nuggets retired his number 2 jersey, and the South Carolina Gamecocks retired his number 22 jersey. He's the first NBA player to have 8 consecutive 2,000-point seasons. He accomplished so very much, guys and gals and pals, donned an NBA uniform as a Milwaukee Buck. Starring opposite Gregory Peck and Jamie Lee Curtis, showcased his range in the inspirational film Amazing Grace and Chuck. As an English major, he developed an interest in the poetry of Robert Frost. You saw him in the promo pack earlier. Whether it was in a hotel room or restaurant, after or before games, he wrote poetry where he was inspired at any cost. He was the first ever director of player programs for the NBA Players Association, but there's even more about this absolute great. Since 2014, he's been an active participant in the Sports Diplomacy's Sports Envoy program for the U.S. Department of State. He was published several poetry books, and my absolute favorite poem of his is Third World 2. After watching the Ethiopian famine, his beautiful heart and soul expressed literary excellence through and through, as he remained true to his virtues and worldview. Peter McWilliams, a contemporary poet who uses free verse, would definitely appreciate this man who gave humanity more than merely a swish. So welcome a humble, kind, intelligent, kind human being. First name Alex, last name English. Welcome, my friend, to round 2 of the celebrity tournament, my friend.
Hey, Avi, thank you. Thank you for those kind words. And Sidney Moncrief, thank you as well. I think, it's a great moment for Sidney and I both, who shared a friend that was just an awesome, awesome person, player, and humanitarian, Junior Bridgman.
Yes,
who we
recently
both had
passed.
a chance to be friends with and both love. And this is an opportunity just to recognize what he meant to basketball and what he meant to our personalities as human beings. So Junior Bridgman, just an awesome, awesome human being. And thank you again for those kind words.
Those sentiments are true, my friend, and you deserve to hear them. I actually, Junior Bridgman, who passed recently, for those that don't know, did so much in the world of business after he retired, and I brought him into my school as a speaker. And I mentioned this on my show about maybe a month ago. I met Junior. I brought him in. He spoke to the kids, and afterwards, they said, "Man, we're too young to remember who Junior Bridgman was as a player, but now we'll never forget him." And I love that.
Right.
Absolutely. Great. Alex, my friend, I'm going to ask you a question before I ask the age-old question I ask everybody. Alex, what is it about the world that gets you so interested in when you wake up in the morning? Of course, there's hard days and there's great days. What do you look forward to?
Well, it's so much. I look forward to a nice day. Growing up in South Carolina, just waking up early, going outside and just getting a breath of fresh air and sunshine. That's what I look forward to. And, just making sure that all of my kids are doing well. My family's doing well. Those are things that are important to me. And then the way the world is moving, what direction. That's very important, especially in this day and time.
I concur, and you've done a lot of that. I mentioned this, I think, when you were backstage. The first time I ever heard the name Alex English, it was through a poem that you wrote, and I mentioned that in my intro. And then I realized there's basketball excellence, but when it comes to your poetry, I applaud you for being able to be vulnerable and put all of your thoughts and expressions onto a piece of paper, because the written word can inspire people.
Thank you, and that's what it does. You think about all the people that have put in words down that open their character and open their person to the world, and without fear. And that's the way I operate. I want to be able to make a mark, and I want to be able to share something that's important to me with other people.
That's a beautiful thing. I'm glad to have Mr. Alex English and Mr. Sidney Moncrief. I'm about to bring Sidney in as well, and we'll start with topic number 1. Gentlemen, here we are, Sidney and Mr. Alex English, Mr. Sidney Moncrief. I'll bring up topic number 1 right now, but I am going to, again, remind everybody that when you're watching this right now, guys and gals and pals, we appreciate all of your comments. I don't like saying this. I probably never do, but my litter agent says, bring it up more. Guys, like and subscribe when you're watching. Like and subscribe. I don't like bringing that up because it just seems so mechanical, but it does help us. This is free for all. And thanks to your participation, we're now with Amazon Prime, and that's a pretty cool thing. Thanks to men like Mr. Alex English and Mr. Sidney Moncrief. Guys, I'm going to set up topic number 1. And I'll ask Mr. Alex English to tackle it first. And then Sidney, it's the same question for Sidney and for Alex. Alex, my question for you in this first topic, it's a hypothetical. As a people, we can unite across our differences. We will meet the full potential of our own humanity if we do so, I think. Now, in this topic, you're granted permission to go back in time and convince a deceased historical figure to help you with your mission, whichever mission it might be. This mission is something that's near and dear to your heart. So, A, which deceased historical figure do you select to help assist you in this said mission? And B, what is this particular cause and mission, and why is it so very important? You can have as much uninterrupted time as you'd like, my friend. Whenever you are ready, kind sir, the floor is yours.
Well, Avi, as you know, I am a big fan of Dr. Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and that's the historical figure that I would select. And the other person I would probably try and bring in would be Mahatma Gandhi, because during their lives and the eras that they were participated in with their lives, they were all about trying to change the world for a better, for a good cause, trying to bring people together regardless of their color, their religion, whatever. They just wanted to bring people together, and that Martin Luther King Jr. would be the person that I would use.
Sure, absolutely. And if there were a particular, Alex, have you ever had a mission, whether it was the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, or 20s? Has there ever been a mission, either up here or both, that you've ever wanted to bring to fruition, specifically that you think Martin Luther King could help out with?
Well, if you look at the history of Dr. King, you see that his mission was about bringing people together, letting people understand, or helping people understand that, you know, when you take away the flesh,
sure,
we're all very similar. And
amen.
If we could do that, you know, we could be a better world. But then, you know, as time has progressed, you realize that it's not just the color; it's status, social status. It's all the different things that help us become who we think we are in the world, whether it be money or political status or
sure.
star status, you know, all those things. So I would think that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would bring a good verbal mix, a good verbal understanding of how we as people can come together. And I think it's just so important. It's been important in my life, and maybe it's because I am a Southerner, and I got the brunt of a lot of things that happened in the South at that time when I was growing up, and I'm sure Sidney has felt it as well. But I think that those things are important, and I want to see, you know, it may be it may be a big grand idea and dream that I have, but I would like to see us be able to live better together and be beyond the outer layer and be able to take what the inner layer has to give and judge people on that.
Amen to that.
We've kind of gone down a rabbit hole that is very almost dystopian in a way.
Yeah.
And I would like to see us come out of that.
Yes. I think it's funny because Sidney and Alex, what better poem to quote here, if I can, I'm probably not going to remember every bit of it, than your own poem, Alex, because as you were speaking, I thought of one of the few poems that you wrote that had to do with basketball, and it was called "It's Time to Go." And I think I remember the autumn's orange, yellow, and rust paints my mind with outdoor lust for freedom of movement. And it's right, freedom of movement. Like when I read that, it spoke to me as a young teen. It speaks to me today. The freedom of movement is scary for some people who feel stifled in 2025 because right now people are chastised for having any sort of a voice. Right, Alex? Is that sort of an obstacle people are facing today?
That's a big obstacle. Chastised just for their their ideas and their voices, but how they move about in the world, what they believe in, what they may want to study. There's just so many subjects, so many things that we are being attacked on, and
Sure.
so many different things that we're seeing a lot of change in, that I think is changing the world. It is changing the way we move in the world and how we treat people and what's going to become. It's going to take a grand scheme of all people on this earth to be able to get beyond what I call the dystopian vision that's happening. So it's I think it's a grand happening that's got to happen.
Yeah, I would agree. It's got to be the collective. It has to be the collective. You're right.
Right, the collective of all people, and you got to be able to get rid of this here. You got to be able to look
Sure.
beyond. You got to be able to look beyond religion. You've got to be able to look beyond wealth.
Sure.
The grand vision is for us all to be able to live together and
Yeah.
be kind. Be kind. We've I see today we're not kind to each other anymore.
No. No.
Some of the things that you hear people say and do, it's just like it's nice. It's not nice. And I know during the era when we were trying to become a part of this country and a part of the world, Dr. King,
Sure.
he rejected that. He said, "Hey, we've got to be able to live with each other. We've got to be able to live together. It's almost like a Shangri-La. We want the world to be able to have to be able to progress. I mean, in order for us to progress in the whole humanity, instead of that the different separate humanity. But in order for us to progress as a whole, we've got to be able to be on one page, and the vision is just a vision that's got to be beyond anything that we've ever seen.
I totally agree with you. And it's funny, we were talking about this when we weren't recording, and I figured it'd be a great time to bring this up. I've told this story several times, but a dear friend of mine when I was an educator was Diane Nash, who was one of the original Freedom Riders. And to our viewers, here's a photo of Diane in the center here, guys and gals and pals who are watching. That's Diane Nash. She's still with us today. And when Alex spoke about how dismissive we can be to each other, that extends itself to people who've made a difference like Diane.
Yes.
Because when I brought her in as a speaker, Alex and Sidney, my assistant principal did one of these. I call it a nonverbal, but she just said she did one of these to her. That's all she did. She didn't shake her hand. She didn't say hello. She wasn't gracious. And 4 days later, I quit as a result of that. And another instance where my same assistant principal, I mentioned this as well, told me, innocently enough, but still in an ignorant fashion, she pulled me aside and said, "You misspelled Douglas's last name in Frederick Douglass." She said, "You put 2 S's." I said, "That's because it had 2 S's in his last name." And I realized, boy, oh boy, are we in trouble when it comes to the education system here. We are in trouble. But yeah, before I kick this off over to Sidney, Alex, I have to ask you this question. It's sort of, I guess, a question between the questions or the topics. Alex, do you think it's more challenging to overcome something without the guidance of others, or could it be more liberating to overcome a challenge by yourself? I know it depends what that challenge might be. Is it one that requires a team? Is it one that requires an individual? But what's been more gratifying for you overall in the human experience? Overcoming something together as a team or as an individual?
Oh, I get gratification out of both, but being able to convince and change people's minds and ideas, I think that's more gratifying, because when you can change a little and you can make that progress and be like a mushroom, or something that just goes out further and further, and those people that you convince and change their minds, they go and do it with someone else. You've got a bigger footprint, bigger impact on the world, and that's important. That's how we're going to possibly achieve that. And it's a grand vision of Shangri-La, of utopia. It's we can get on the path.
Yes.
But to get on that path, we've got to be able bring all these other people along with us, and hopefully they are disciples and they do the same thing, and that's how you build momentum.
You know, it's funny because when you returned back to Columbia, South Carolina, and you went back to the University of South Carolina to further your studies in English, during the summer you would take courses in journalism and American literature, and even talking about being a professor of English at university. That was something that spoke to you. And going back to your poem, I had to ask this as well. Can a poem, for our viewers, we have a lot of poets out there too, can a poem change over time in terms of the meaning? And I ask it specifically for It's Time to Go, because I think it dealt with free agency when you left the Bucks in '78, as Sidney alluded to, of course, as a member of the Milwaukee Bucks in the late '70s before being a Nugget. Can the meaning of a poem change over time?
Well, it can. It depends on what the author is trying to share at that moment. But in literature, in poetry especially, different people get different things out of the words. Right. Word. I look at some of the great writers, the great songwriters, the great poets that's come before us, and I was just thinking and talking to myself about how I would deal with these questions that you had for us to talk about, and I thought about Martin Luther King Jr. especially, and then I thought about, and we're going to go to the next when we go to the next song, John Lennon and the song Imagine. That's the vision. That's the idea. Can you imagine? It's great imagination, a big imagination.
Yeah.
But he threw that out, and that song for people that know it and have read it and understand it, it's a grand vision.
It really is.
That's a piece of poetry that I just love.
I love that you brought up songwriting. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, December of '80, he was assassinated by Mark David Chapman at the Dakota in Manhattan. I grew up in Queens, and my dad always told me when I was a kid, okay, so I'm going to be very transparent. We all see color, but not the way other people might see it. He always told me, you're not from this country, and you're going to be in a public school, and you're going to be the minority. And when I went to Francis Lewis High School, Forest Hills High School, and Jamaica High School in Queens, I was one of two Caucasians. And you know what? It didn't matter. It did not matter at all, because it's true. Not only was I welcomed, and I played on the basketball team, but guess what? The best thing I did the basketball world was stop playing basketball.
But that experience that you had in that school has affected how you live your life in the world and how you perceive the world. So that was awesome for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I wish everyone can realize that if they have the courage to step across their own boundaries and speak to people, right, and meet them on this level, at eye level, like you mentioned, we're all going to cry, bleed, and smile and laugh the same. That's it.
And one of the things, before we go to Sidney,
sure,
forgive me for taking up so much.
That's okay. Yeah.
But I think about when you grow up in the South, and during my era, you see the separation. It's separate. They were supposed to be separate but equal. But you look at the places that people go, where people are supposed to be able to come together and share ideas and share thoughts. And I remember growing up in South Carolina, and on Sundays, you would have the black church over here, and you'd have the white church over here. And they were all separate, but they all believed in the same, supposedly believed in the same ideas of the world, of coming together and not color. But it wasn't that way. And it still hasn't. It still isn't that way. We've made progress. We've made a lot of progress, but it's still the same thing, as we say, in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways.
And I love what you said. I think hopefully we can all collectively as a humanity try to go after that W and get that win together. That would be the ultimate win if we can get that win together. Absolutely. And it has to be together from the first man to the 12th man. And guys and gals and pals, we appreciate your support again in the comment section. Mr. Alex English, topic number 1. Mr. Sidney Moncrief, the same question, which I'll set it up in case some of you are just joining us. It's the same topic that Alex English had, and of course Sidney Moncrief. It's called Joining the Cause. And Sidney, you're granted permission in this scenario to go back in time and convince any deceased historical figure to help you with a mission that speaks to you. The mission is something that's obviously near and dear to your heart. A, which deceased historical figure do you select to help assist you in this mission? And what is this particular cause and mission, and why is it so very important to you? My friend, as much time as you'd like. The floor is yours, good sir.
RV, I tell you what, when I was thinking about this question, I did what Sidney normally will do, and that I took it in a different direction, okay? Because I have so many missions, but one mission that I do have is to live a stress-free life, right? To minimize stress, to minimize confusion, to accelerate the freedom of movement and things that we can do as human beings, to remove obstacles that inhibit us from communicating and doing great things in our lives. That's kind of my mission that I wanted to focus on, but I didn't want to use someone that was deceased, right? I started thinking about the question and I said, okay, what act, because acts matter, we know that. Actions matter. There was an incident that happened 23 years ago. It was one act, yet it impacted millions and millions of people. And if I could go to that person today, I would ask the simple question of, what in the hell were you thinking about? What were you thinking about? And it's something that we've taken for granted. And that would be, I would go to Richard Reed. You know what Richard Reed is? Richard Reed. December 22nd, 2001, what happened? Some fool tried to board a plane in Paris that was on its way to Miami. And he had a shoe. And in the shoe, there was a what? A bomb. Of course, he was arrested. And from that one act, that one incident, for the last 23 years, what have we had to do at airports? Remove our shoes. One act impacted millions and millions of people. And that's the power we have as human beings. Our mission should be that whatever act of kindness, right? Act of like you, writer, the act of helping people to become better, the act of inspiring others should really be taken more seriously because it matters. His action mattered because it impacted millions and millions of people. So what happens now? You go through the airport, you take off your shoes, you have holes in your socks, maybe someone's shoes are smelly, and these people are feeling uncomfortable, and you're delayed, and all these things that add stress to our lives took place because one person made a decision that impacted us 23 years later. And I thought it would be fun to take that question and spin it a little bit to bring out, you guys talked about acts of kindness. I'm glad you did. I've actually had written a book on acts of kindness. And it's something that is a staple for my workshops, one of my staples for workshops, because with acts of kindness, it can drive so many different things, mostly positive. And with acts of kindness, it's very contagious. So if I see Alex perform an act of kindness or Arvie perform an act of kindness, I'm more likely to perform some type of act of kindness. And if we can just get people being more kind to one another, like you guys talked about, it could change the world. But we have to take personal responsibility for that. We can't leave that up to anyone else. When I'm on top of my game, you asked a question about what do you think about, yes, Alex, what do you think about when you wake in the morning? When I'm on top of my game, which is not all the time, I think, how can I impact someone? What act of kindness can I do for someone else? When I'm not on top of my game, I might just think about Sidney, which is 90% of the time probably. But when I'm really focused, it's what can I do for others? who will I inspire today? Who will I impact today? Because if we go back 23 years, someone else made the decision, had an action that put a lot of strain and stress and pressure on others. So that would be my person that I would talk to, Richard Reed. And that's why I would ask them that question. What were you thinking about?
That's amazing. And the way you frame that, the way you took that somewhere else, yeah. And you brought up what I'd asked Alex to bookend it. I wanted to ask you a question about the night. When you're about to turn in at night, what are some of the things you put behind you? What are some of the things you put to rest? Of course, from a literary fashion, we're talking about being able to go to sleep. What are the things you put to rest up here and here when you go to sleep usually?
Mostly everything. I'm a like in now person. I believe very strongly in the concept of mindfulness. And mindfulness has two components. One, obviously, is staying in the present.
Sure.
The other part is staying aware of what's going on around you, and within other people. So I try to live that. I try not to take a lot of things forward that's happened in the past. That's not perfect. We know that because our minds are working. It's going to happen. But when I feel it happening, guys, I just said stop. Focus on the future. Focus on the positive. So when I go to bed mostly clear-minded. And you know why I go to bed clear-minded? Because I turn on Gunsmoke and watch Miss Kitty and Matt Dillon.
There you go.
Or Matlock or some old show.
Yeah, there you go.
that keeps me entertained.
I like it. For me, it was Gilligan's Island growing up.
Oh my goodness, Gilligan's! Oh yes, yeah.
They never got out of the island. Actually, no, they got off the island once when they played the Harlem Globetrotters. There was an episode called "The Harlem Globetrotters Meets Gilligan's Island," and they went anyway. But
where did they go?
What's that?
Where did they go? They went off the island where?
When they played the Harlem Globetrotters. There's an episode called the Harlem Globetrotters. I'll try to pull this thing up here while I speak and simultaneously do that. But I wanted to ask you a question here as well. And speaking of which, to our viewers, you guys can give us your rendition of this question and how you approach it. And guys and gals and pals, I promised you I would do it. So here we go. This is in real time. This is a brief clip. Why not? Brief moment of levity here. This is the episode, the infamous Bob Denver playing Gilligan. As you can see with the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yes.
The only time they left the island in that series run. The only time.
That's amazing.
Did he get off the island?
They got off briefly, and then somehow, through some sort of mishap, they wound up back on the island.
They got renewed for the next year, huh?
Yeah,
next season, maybe.
That's what it was. I guess that's a good thing, yeah. And of course, we all know the skipper was probably furious. He was always furious. The person who directed a lot of those episodes was my mentor, Richard Donner, who later directed Lethal Weapon and The Goonies. Great guy. He brought up this question that I'll ask Sidney, much the same way I asked Alex, but it's a different sort of a question. You mentor a lot of people, Sidney, and I know as does Alex, you both mentor so many people. When it comes to mentoring people, Sidney, that feel like they have a past they can't run away from, I have to tie this, of course, to Richard Reed because for those that knew the story of one Richard Reed, they also knew about his father, who was a career criminal. Is there a way you can talk to people or have spoken to people who think that they're stuck in their past or that biologically they can't escape from their past at all due to their parents' fate? What do you do to get people out of that? If they're stuck in the mud, what do you do to get them out of that place?
I recommend the best therapist I can locate.
Right.
But because really, when you're to that point, then we can just hope to inspire them to look at the positive sides of life.
Sure.
But it's such an individual struggle because the mind, as we know, is so powerful that I try not to get into that too much when I inspire people. I listen a lot.
Right.
And I'm mindful of what they're saying. And I try to look behind what they're saying also, which I think is important. And I try to be very disciplined about what I say and how I say it, and certainly take into account their history. Because some people you can go that direction and it just, some other things might come up that could just short circuit your conversation.
Right.
I just like to stay positive as positive as possible. Every once in a while, I might do a Sidney comment. I try to shade it a little bit, but you need to grow up and move forward, But I try to say it in a better way
Sure,
than I just
sure.
said it to you. But you certainly don't want to be also an enabler by just listening to people when they're going down the wrong, as Alex said, rabbit hole. You want to
Right.
do whatever you can to maybe pull them out just a little bit so they can start processing what they're saying.
I like that you brought that up because sometimes you don't want to have to be held responsible for somebody else's decision in life. And that's such a practical way of looking at it. And again, maybe even a safer way of looking at it. Sidney, I have to ask you a question about this because I know, again, a lot of our fans are probably curious. There is a lot of guidance that can carry over into other aspects of our life or even careers. Like, for instance, if I go back to 79, if I go back to some of the veterans that were on the Bucks, I'm thinking of Junior Bridgman, the aforementioned Junior Bridgman. I'm thinking of Harvey Catchings. He was there. Quinn Buckner was there.
Quinn Buckner,
well.
Marcus Johnson, Bob Lanier, Brian Winters, Lucky Lloyd, Ernie Brownfield. Huh?
Was Paul Pressey there too?
Paul Pressey was not there when I got there.
Okay.
He came maybe 2 or 3 years after I got there. But there was so much wisdom on that team.
Yeah.
And Alice, you could appreciate this. Harvey, you can too. And anyone that knows how basketball used to be, I don't say it in a like it was like all of that. But however, we went to school for 4 years in most cases.
Right. So
You develop better habits if you play for a good coach. In addition to that, most players on that team, they had either been deep in the NCAA tournament or they had won NCAA championships.
Quinn Buckner, right? Yeah.
Quinn Buckner. And Kent Benson. Kent Benson was on that team.
Yeah.
When I played. Marcus Johnson was on that team. And so we had a lot of experienced people that were what I call pros, even though they were coming out of college. They were pros. Now, when you come out of high school, you're still an amateur mentally. You hadn't had that experience of playing in these venues or having the discipline of having a coach that made you do the right thing.
Sure.
And so I had a really good environment. Don Nelson was, as Alex know, he was very open-minded, creative in everything that he did. And it was a wonderful experience to play in that type of environment.
And Sidney, I had a chance to play with those guys. I left right before you came, I think.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I got
I'm glad you did because I got more shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was coming off the bench anyway, so.
Right. And prior to that was Indiana, right, Alex? The Pacers?
No, I left. I was drafted by Milwaukee, and I went to Indiana. As a free agent, and I left Junior Bridgman and Marcus Johnson and Quinn Buckner and Kent Benson.
Was Billy Knight there as a Pacer at the time?
Billy Knight was there for 1 year when I got there.
Right. Yeah, wow, it's incredible how like you guys sort of intersect. Oh, there's another. I just thought about this now. So 91, both Sidney Moncrief and Alex English are playing their final NBA seasons. Alex is with Dallas for that one season after playing in 89-90 with Denver, where you guys met a rookie named David Robinson in the playoffs in round number 1, San Antonio. And then with Sidney in 91, you guys scared the you-know-what out of the Detroit Pistons in round number 1 as a 6 seed. Yeah. You went in there in D-Town and got the win, and everybody was talking, wow, this Atlanta Hawk team, of course, this is when I'm talking about the end of your career, for all our fans to put this in perspective, for historical context, you led your Milwaukee Bucks with a great ensemble to so many conference finals. You were the only team that actually beat the Philadelphia 76ers in 83 when they were sweeping everyone. They swept the Knicks and then the Lakers, but you guys gave them all you can handle. And, of course, you swept Boston. You also swept Boston.
Moses said 4-4-4. He was right about that. But back to Detroit real quickly.
Yeah, 91.
That Atlanta team was, Alex, very talented. But they just like the nightclub sometimes better than the basketball court. So that caught up with us a little bit during that series.
That was an era, though. But if you ever did a show on the different eras of the game and the different things that happened during the eras, that would be a great show, Adi.
It would be a great
Absolutely.
show.
That's a great idea. I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah,
sure.
Sometimes I wonder how did I play so well after I did this the night before.
And it's funny because you guys almost played each other too in '85. So I mean, Philly goes to the conference finals in '85 and then faces Boston. Milwaukee, of course, gives Philly all they can handle. Philly and Milwaukee in the '80s. Philly, Milwaukee. Every year they're trading off series victories. And of course, English's Nuggets did something as a kid. I do recall this. It's not something I've invented. I remember seeing this. The Nuggets go into LA in the conference finals and beat LA in '85.
Yeah.
Man, what a
And
thrill that was to watch.
And Kareem and Norm Nixon and Michael Cooper. It was all those guys that made them great.
Oh my gosh.
Pure ballers.
Yes.
My gosh, what an era that was. What an era. And again, just to ask Sidney a question here before we move on to our final topic. Of course, we have a very brief video for those we've lost in memoriam who've been part of this tournament and my life as well. But I have to ask you this, Sidney, when it comes to what you do, which is so clearly defined, because again, you are motivating a lot of people and coaching them. Do you feel like you have to also have a strong spiritual work ethic when it goes to that?
No, I don't. For me, they're totally separate because everyone has a different faith in what they
and not so much religion.
Yeah.
I meant more like an understanding of the internal self.
Yes, you really do. And you
Sure.
have to also have a very keen sense. I think when I was younger, you want everyone to be like you.
Right.
You want everyone to work like you, pay attention like you, you want everyone to be like you. But what I've been taught is they're not like you. And they're not going to be like you, and that's okay. That's okay. So you just meet them where they are.
I like that.
And you just try to get them to get better. We have a GRIT acronym that we use: growth, G, R, resilience, I, intentionality, and T, tenacity. And the number one is growth. And we just tell people get better every day. We give you something simple. Whatever you want to do in life, just every day, just build up on it every day and keep it simple. So I just try to keep it as simple, as basic as possible. And Alex will understand this. Arvie, you would understand this. People respect and respond to transparency and integrity.
Sure.
Right. So
I have to get that from you if I can share with my campers next week.
Please.
Yes, you can. You can.
Yes, I'd love to.
And they actually respond to that. And I just try to be as sincere and as real as possible with all my engagements when I try to inspire and coach people.
And you never lose your humanity. And same with Alex. I respect that because people might think, well, wait a minute. Our simple brains are not so simple. We just have to use more of it. We have a lot of it. Gentlemen like Sidney and Alex use their brains. And I think if we all do, if we take a page out of your books, we'll realize that we don't have to be limited when we say be stern like. Be stern like doesn't mean shortchanging someone.
No.
Being direct doesn't mean you don't care. It just means that you're saving a lot of time. And I respect you for being able to kind of frame it that way.
Arvie, real quick, there's a bias, and we did DEI workshops and what have you, and everyone has a bias. I like when you said something really profound. You said, "Of course, I see color, and everyone should see color, because when we don't, we miss out on the essence of that ethnicity, whatever it might be. We miss out on the uniqueness of that ethnicity, whatever it might be. So you can't say, I don't like when people say I don't see color. Well, then something's wrong with you.
Right.
Right. Because that's very natural.
Telling the truth, Sidney.
Right.
Most times they're not telling the truth.
They're not.
No.
But here's the bias. We're from the South, Alex and I.
Sure.
When you're from the South, there's a higher degree of humility and, to some point, lack of confidence from the time you grew up until you became an adult.
I see what you mean. Right.
And so that's transferred in how you interact with people.
Sure.
East Coast, West Coast, other parts of the country, there's more Chicago, there's more confidence when they're young.
Right.
They feel more entitled, and they maybe are a little more distant because they didn't have the discipline or families that showed that type of love that we're talking about. And so ours come from
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with the first part of this conversation. Oh my gosh, I'm ecstatic with this first topic. Howard, what do you think about this first topic?
I mean, when they were talking about mentoring, what does that mean for them? Just, how he broke that down was amazing. Just the conversation back and forth, this thing of not seeing color. God, these guys were just going in and Miranda.
I thought it was an amazing conversation. I mean, when Sidney was talking about, of course, mindfulness, right? I was like, wow, it really resonated with me. And it resonated with me a lot. And then also when he was saying, meet people where they are, especially, when you're mentoring them and stuff like that, because you can't push them too hard, but you want to try to push them a little bit. So it's kind of like you're meeting them where they are and you're gently pushing them. Yeah. To give them a nudge forward. So I thought it was amazing. And Alex too, I loved what he said as well.
Yeah, they're both fantastic. And we are about to see the exciting conclusion of topic 2. Of course, we have our dearly departed, rest in peace video, our in memoriam section. We'll have moments of levity as well. You think we're not going to play IPay or more underrated? We definitely are. We are back at this right now.
Right. They feel more entitled. And they maybe are a little more distant because they didn't have the discipline or families that showed that type of love that we're talking about. And so ours come from just, I think, partly being from that region.
Yeah. So the human experience was your teacher, essentially.
It was. And in spite of all the things that we saw that were not good, you talked about it early, Alex, we saw a lot of love also from our families and really from even the white community. Although we talked about all the negative things about the white community, there were so many positives. We had teachers like yourself that were pouring into the students. You had people that were donating funds and resources for the neighborhoods, and the churches that were donating funds and resources. So I think that all the human experience all comes into play, and it shapes who we are and how we interact with people.
So well said. And it's funny because when I think of the white people or, like the white menace, I think of suits and ties and politicians. When Alex brought up Martin Luther King, our fans should know that this man was illegally bugged and wiretapped, which was not something that was okay. It wasn't okay. When people know who some of those people are, I always feel like we should treat our government, and we can't do it anymore. Or I should say we should. We can't. We should treat our government like we treat our parents, where we place our trust in them. If the commander-in-chief is supposed to be like our father, we're supposed to listen to what our father says because they know better. And when we see our parents doing things they shouldn't be doing, not only do we question it, we turn inward. It almost doesn't feel right. We can't comprehend that someone on that level is making so many mistakes. But I think the beautiful part about having these discussions here in this open forum is we can challenge some conventions from the past in order to fix the present. Like when I just brought up that Martin Luther King Jr. was bugged, a lot of people might know that. They might know the wiretapping. But what's the motivation behind that? The motivation behind that is that for the longest time, white America did not accept any other voice other than its own. And that's not a knock, as you mentioned, towards the individual. There are plenty of people who are white and Caucasian who come from backgrounds and even immigrants who came to this country with nothing. But I think it's beautiful to realize that when it comes to the ability to have open dialogue about something in the past, can you be thin-skinned? That's what I tell my fellow white colleagues. Some are professors. When you're hearing something, can you be thin-skinned and not take it personally? Because you can't change history even if you try. You might be able to somehow put it in the closet somewhere. Even for centuries, you can hide it away. But you can't ignore what really happened. So if we're going to make progress, we have to take accountability. We have to say, here's what our forefathers did wrong. It's so easy to say, let's recognize the jump shot. Let's recognize the Oscar. Let's recognize the award. What have we not done right? If we realize the things we didn't do right could be turned into a right by having the assistance of others, we can only improve. That's how we become great. But we have to have thin skin. We got to take accountability. Like I know for a fact, I learned to never cook a meal for my girlfriend again. Never. I learned, Avi, you have no business near that stove. You tried. You had good intentions, but don't cook anything for her. But no, you guys are teaching a lot, and I really do love learning from you guys a ton. Before we move into the second topic, I have to ask Sidney and Alex this question. And Sidney and Alex, you both could jump in at any time if you'd like on your own. Do you, as an athlete, on such a high level, today, yesterday, tomorrow, as an athlete on the highest level, do you have to be aware of the rooms that you walk into because you have to handle the weight of who you're perceived to be by others who are not in the same club? Should you be aware of the...
Alex.
Sorry?
I'm going to Alex let him answer. Sure. Then I'll chime in, but
yeah, of course you have to be aware of yourself and the room and the people in the room, because people look at athletes as they're not always real. They think that we're pace setters and that we are above and beyond in some instances, and that's not always the case. We have to be aware.
Sure.
I want to know how people perceive myself. Plus, I'm setting an example. It depends on what room I'm in.
Right.
If it's like if I'm in the room where I've got 35 campers, of course I want to be able to give them a lot of positive food, a lot of necessary food, and feed them that. If I'm in a room with a bunch of reporters, I'm going to be a little more sheltered with my.
Sure.
But I still want to be able to let them know, what I'm about, and that what I feel good about, and my perspective. I just may not be as open with it as I would be within a room full of my campers or kids. It just depends on who's in the room.
Yeah,
you got to
you're right.
Yourself for the room.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I like what Alex said, and remember I talked about grit, growth, resilience, intentionality. So I'm going to stay stuck on intentionality. With
Sure.
That was a great question. I think we should be more intentional before we enter into any room. As Alex just said that pretty much. He said, I evaluate first what room I'm going into. Right. Number one. Number two, I say, well, what is the desired outcome that I would like to have
right
when I go into this room? Number three, he said it. How can I advance others like myself, pro athletes? The way I project in this room is going to reflect not just on me, but on others. Mm-hmm. And then the last one is, what can I do to inspire someone that I come in contact with in this room? And so I take all those things into account before I enter into the room. But most importantly, I just be who I am.
Right. Yeah.
Just be you. Be you. And I'm not trying to just be who you are.
And for the youngsters out there, Sidney, would you agree that and to Alex also, would you guys both agree that mentorship is one thing. People always say it's great to have a mentor, but it's also the responsibility and the duty of the youngster to lean into that mentorship, to show that person who might be interested in mentoring you that you're willing to listen to them. It's a two-sided street, right?
Yes, you want to know more about people. That's curiosity. It's one of the very important points of leadership, and the greatest leaders and successful people are curious people.
Yeah.
And so when you encounter someone that you don't know, curiosity certainly comes into play. However, if they don't want your mentorship or advice, you determine that very quickly, and then you go in a different direction.
Absolutely.
And I think with young people, especially being a pro athlete and all-star like Sidney or myself, they want to know. They want to know what kind of positive information. So they're hungry. They're listening.
Right.
And they want to know what they can do to get to your level or get to the level athletically that you're at. So you've got a great opportunity to impress upon them the positive things, not just basketball,
but the things about the world, about growing up in Arkansas, or growing up in South Carolina, the tools that you got from the interaction with the people around you, the good and the negative, and the ones that you get rid of, and then the ones that you keep as you move forward.
And Ari, I'm going to add one more thing to that because Alex just brought up something that I think people need to know. Athletes today want to be great. And athletes today want to listen. And I know a lot of people say, well, they don't want to listen to people. They do want to listen to people. They do want advice on how to get better. Now, they have a lot more distractions to keep them from getting the information and retaining it. That's the big issue, is so many more forces maybe short circuit their ability to hang on to it, the information. But they want the information.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
There's so many distractions out there. And today, I mean, if you can go into a room and get kids' attention without the headphones and without this stuff right here, you're doing a great job. So when you get that opportunity, you've got to take advantage of it.
Yes,
that's such a good point. Yeah, it's even tough for teachers today when they walk into that classroom. They don't know. I mean, because as children, we're always mischievous and we always have something up our sleeve, sometimes literally. And there's ways where we're not going to get their attention because somehow a device. We didn't have devices as kids growing up. Now there's devices everywhere. Yeah.
I'm in the classroom, first of all. So so feel me when I say this.
Yeah.
I do not allow phones or headsets.
Good, yeah.
Period.
That's
but
great.
you're still fighting a difficult battle because the school at some point they do.
Yeah.
And now the leadership is finally saying we need to be adults. We need to be adults and deal with this issue. So now more states obviously are passing laws banning cell phones in the classroom and headphones. I'm like, what took you all so long?
Man, it should never have gotten there. You should never have had in school, Sidney, and us going in school, going to class with a cell phone.
Sure.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm walking down the hallway. All these high school kids, they have sliders on. They have the sliders, shoes on.
Right.
They got
the phone and the headset. And I'm like, where am I?
And it's like, I know it sounds so, it sounds like a conspiracy, and I'm not trying to make it sound like that. I always like to say I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy realist when it comes to certain things. But like, it's almost the untrained brain can never make progress. And I feel like the powers that be want our brains untrained as often as possible. And if these devices are doing just that, then the powers that be are probably rather successful in that venture of theirs. So
they have done that well, haven't they?
Oh my gosh, have they? And you know what? I got to tell you, Sidney and Alex, a lot of people here on this network have done well showing their humanity. And I want to take this brief moment, probably 60 seconds. I'll keep us all on screen just to give thanks to those who are no longer here anymore, that were part of this incredible journey known as TKN. Options for Gallagher, more underrated than why? Sauerkraut, Henry Kissinger's deep soothing voice, or dogs wearing sweaters?
I like dogs wearing sweaters.
Do you have fun?
Yeah, I haven't done an interview in 20 years.
Mr. Sizemore, first name Tom. How are you, my friend? I could turn the volume lower if you'd like next time. If you'd like to do that, do that.
Wow, that was something else. I don't know what I can do now.
Oh, please.
That was terrific, man.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And you know what? As charming as a guy that you are, man, and as honest as a guy as you are, and as down-to-earth as a guy as you are, you played a character that isn't so down-to-earth named Scrooge in college. You played Scrooge. And of course, I feel like a thespian should rely on their instinct. Do you feel like you rely on your instinct a lot as a storyteller as well?
I mean, playing Scrooge at that young an age was, when I think about it now, I only way I could have done it is I was relying on my instincts. You know, I could have done it any other way. Okay.
More underrated than why? Unicycles, Italian men named Skippy, or sophisticated dinosaurs?
What? More sophisticated dinosaurs?
Yeah,
I want to say this sentence. Italian men named Skippy. I just want to say
Yeah, Italian man named Skippy.
I was going to say the sentence, Italian man named Skippy.
Yeah, something you'll ever hear, yeah. Did you have fun? Did you have a nice time?
I had a great time. It was ball.
Yeah, man.
I want to do it again. This is great. I just think it's going to be, a lot of fun for people. I don't think people, there's nothing like this on the air, I don't think, really. No, there isn't. I just think it's going to be I'm very interested in how people respond to it, because I know it's going to be interesting and see if people tune in and stay tuned in. And I really hope they do. And, I'm all yours, bro. Let's go out and make this work. All right? I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.
It's the night before he passed. I teach a workshop, and one of my students finally said about my class about iambic pentameter. He finally said, I got it. And he was excited. And it was both his elation and those three words that make it worthwhile, right?
Amen. You got it. But I think I've got to have equally passionate people involved in the production of it. That passion will override any reservations anybody has as to the show's potential for entertainment or education.
Did you feel as if transitioning to the stage and performing live theater was a natural fit for you?
Yes, I did. I always felt very comfortable on stage, more so on stage than I did in film or television. So I'm looking forward to you, Avi, giving me your thoughts and your input, because as I told you, that piece that you sent me is, I love good writing, and I think
Thank you,
that's been
sir.
the secret of my career. And this is a beautiful piece of writing, as I said. I'm referring to the piece that you wrote me. You're onto something because you're a writer. You're a creative force, and I want to hook up.
Thank you so much for those kind words, guys. Thank you for being you, my friend. I appreciate you and respect you wholeheartedly.
And that goes double from me to you, Avi.
Yeah, my pop at his peak, my pop was about 6'7", but never brash, always quiet, funny, really funny if you got to know him. But John Amos was a mentor. If you guys had the pleasure of meeting John, obviously it was unforgettable. And if you didn't, then what a mentor he was to me. People, of course, remember John from Good Times. They remember him from Coming to America. Of course, Roots, incredible miniseries. To this day, the highest viewed miniseries of all time was Roots. But to hear John discuss his experience in Hollywood was absolutely appalling to me. And he taught me the don'ts instead of the do's. Like, we always think about people teaching us things we don't know. How about people teaching us the things we shouldn't know or shouldn't do? And that was John. He was such an incredible guy. Did you guys ever get a chance to meet John Amos at all in any capacity?
I have not. No.
Neither have I.
Yes.
Yeah, he would have loved you guys. There's no doubt about that. But, you saw the game that we were playing. So this is a 2-minute game before our final topic here. Moment of levity. This is kind of a game where we let our hair down, because I always say to find our innocence, to find our youth, I think that can help us in our adulthood. Sometimes it can.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Remember where we came from.
Yes, stay young. Stay young.
Yes. And we could do it in a clean way, and that's kind of what I like doing over here, is having fun in a clean way. This is a game called I Would Pay. It's hypothetical. I'm going to give Mr. Alex English and Mr. Sidney Moncrief a trio of options. They're zany, but they're fun. They're going to have to select one out of those options that they would likely pay for and why. They have to pick one. They'll let us know why you would pick it and why. I'm going to start off with Sidney Moncrief. Sidney, my friend, if you would have to pay for the following, which would you pay for to see and why? To see and why. Rocky Balboa as a neurosurgeon, Seinfeld as a correctional officer, or Rambo as a talk show host?
Okay, Arby.
Yeah. Yes.
You're one of the most liberal, open-minded people that I've ever met. However, you just asked me a very biased question. You had
I can't wait to hear it already.
You had no brothers or sisters in that question anywhere.
Oh, there will. I promise.
So I can't even relate and identify. I know all the actors, but I don't know.
I had to pick two Stallones. I'll tell you why I picked two Stallones.
Yeah.
One, our sponsor loves Stallone, and B, I'm thinking of Rambo versus Rocky. Rocky is a neurosurgeon. Rambo is a talk show host. I'm like thinking, where will they go here?
I love Rocky. I love Sylvester Stallone. Obviously, if I had to pick, I would pick Rocky
as a neurosurgeon.
Yes, and here's why: because Rocky has so much determination that he would find a way to get that done, to make sure I was healthy and to make sure I was okay.
Sure.
That's how much confidence I have in his ability to overcome and to adjust, and as we say, to adapt and find solutions to the problem that he would have because he would not know what to do.
And you're right. And I'm thinking about something as we speak. If you watch the Rocky movies, we all have. He graduated in this scenario. He graduated from having to ask Mickey to cut him, and now he's cutting someone else. So he's graduated in a sense. Now, you got to admit, this is the one time, though, Sidney, you don't want Mickey, his trainer, in that room saying, "Come on, Rock. Give it your all."
Rock. Come on, Rock.
I don't need you to give me. That's a moment of quiet. We need quiet in the room at that point, right? So
we need Rocky to pick up the phone and call a very good neurosurgeon.
And
say, I need you to sub for me right now.
Yeah. And we don't need Mickey in the room at that point. Mickey was great, but not there. I'll ask Mr. Alex English the same question. Which would you pay for to see and why if you had to? Rocky Balboa is a neurosurgeon. Seinfeld is a correctional officer, or Rambo the talk show host?
Ooh, that's a maybe Seinfeld as a correction officer.
Okay.
Because I think he would probably give a lot of despaired people a lot of laughs.
That's true, though. That is true.
Yeah.
Good. The thing I loved about Seinfeld's brand of humor, and I keep saying this, it's clean in a sense where it's so observational. It makes you think about things you never thought about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I used to write some stuff that for comedians, some of them used it, some of them didn't use it. But one of them was mentioning how the last thing we seem to be able to do as human beings is be able to sit still when something's in a microwave for 2 minutes. We've got to pull that sucker out at 1:55 for some reason. Our brains can't let it wait the full 2 minutes. Sidney,
that's
you know.
Me. Yeah, that's definitely me.
It's that kind of humor. And of course, when I think of storytelling, was there ever, and I'm sure maybe, but to our knowledge, was there ever a better storyteller than Richard Pryor? Because when he told stories on stage, they were so vivid. He played these characters. So it wasn't just stand-up comedy. It was storytelling.
Like Mud.
Yes. Yeah. I watched his Sunset Strip on cable TV in the 80s, live on the Sunset Strip. And I still tell people we're fans of comedy. If you haven't seen Richard Pryor live on the Sunset, oh my gosh, it was incredible. But I like that choice. I'm going to ask Sidney a couple of more, and then we delve into topic number 2. Sidney, of the following, if you had to pay to see the following, which would it be and why? Darth Vader as a wedding planner, Godzilla as a massage therapist, or Freddy Krueger as a personal trainer?
Godzilla as a why? I have no idea. I'm not even going to try to create a lie for that.
He can get all the kinks if he stands on your back.
That's right. He get all the kinks, and he might scratch me up quite a bit, but probably Godzilla.
I swear to you guys, I use this as an exercise in workshop because it frees the mind. We illustrate things we never thought we'd see, and it kind of stretches the brain a little bit here. Alex, which would you pay for to see and why of the following, my friend? Darth Vader as a wedding planner, Godzilla as a massage therapist, or Freddy Krueger, the personal trainer?
Freddy Krueger as the personal trainer.
Okay, there we go.
He would, I guess he would get he would cut all the, who knows? I can't even make anything up for that. But
I'll tell you what, though. One thing we don't want, though, is him teaching people wrist curls with those fingernails that he has. No wrist curls. There's no doubt about that. Sidney, I don't see you on camera, my friend. Can you hear us? Sidney? Okay, I'm not sure I can hear you, my friend. Sidney, I will let you know when we see you on camera, my friend, because I think we lost you.
He's there. I hear him.
Oh, okay. There we go.
He's like in the background. Maybe he went to the bathroom.
Oh, gotcha. No problem. No problem. Here's
Alex, you halftime bathroom break. I'm sorry.
Here's our last one here. Let's see which would you guys pay for to see and why of the following options that I have for you. The late Casey Jones, attorney at law. The late Casey Jones, attorney at law. Big Bird, the bounty hunter, or Conan the librarian. And I'll kick it to Sidney first. The late Casey Jones, as an attorney at law. Big Bird, the bounty hunter, or Conan the librarian.
Absolutely, Casey Jones.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What a great motivator he was, right? Casey, I used to hear, and you know what's funny, Sidney, you played with Larry Bird in Bulgaria, right, before you got drafted.
Yeah, we played for 4 weeks together in Europe before I got drafted. Yeah, but Casey Jones was so patient and so smart in everything he did, and so inclusive in how he handled people. And I think he would have been an outstanding attorney.
And people can't forget, he also coached the Washington Bullets in the 70s.
I love it.
Yeah.
He also coached with
Seattle
at Milwaukee Bucks my second year.
Did he? Wow. Casey.
Yes.
That's
Casey knows that.
Pretty incredible there. Alex, would you concur of the following options? Which would you pay for to see and why if you had to? Casey Jones, attorney at law, Big Bird the bounty hunter, or Conan the librarian?
Casey Jones.
Yeah, I love that.
Casey Jones is great. I loved his demeanor. And, after a while, when I remember one Christmas as a Milwaukee Buck, our Christmas show, Casey, he would once he got a drink or two in him, he'd be singing for you. He'd be like Bing Crosby or Frank Sinatra. He was a very good singer.
I like that.
I heard he was a great singer.
Yeah,
he sure was.
I have the last one for you guys. Let's see which way you guys go here and why. Sidney, of the following, which would you pay for to see and why? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as a yoga instructor, Wilt Chamberlain as a mountain climber, or Magic Johnson as a computer repair person?
Well, Magic, because he's Magic for a reason. He can perform
magic.
Yeah, so I was at Magic.
And I know I like that. You guys know Magic. Obviously, I don't, but I'll ask you this. I'm assuming, I'm making an assumption that, when your computer kind of like goes awry, everything goes wrong, and you can't fix it, I feel like Magic would put you at ease. He'd put you at ease in those situations.
Yeah. The personality, the smiles, he'll make you feel everything's going to be okay, and I take care of it.
I like it. Now, I'll ask Mr. Alex English the same question. Which would you pay for to see and why of the following if you could? Magic Johnson is a computer repair person, Wilt Chamberlain is a mountain climber, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a yoga instructor?
Probably Wilt Chamberlain is a mountain climber, because I just want to see how a person that long would be able to get up.
Wow. And he did everything well. I mean, he could have been an Olympian. I think he could have been right, exactly. I thought it was long jumper, but you're right. You corrected me, and I appreciate that you did that. And he ran track. He set records in track. Volleyball. He was a great beach volleyball player as well. And I do think it's really I know we're having a bunch of fun here. I do want to say this, though. It's very somber when you think of how he passed. Wilt passed alone in his home in California in '99. I remember the news brief. He went in for some oral procedure for his mouth, for his teeth. And then for whatever reason, he never recovered. But he was, I believe, a young 62 years old. Yeah. My, oh, my. And he wanted to come back in the 70s. He wanted to come back and play the game. But the records that he set obviously probably won't be touched. But I do want to say this, and I want to see if you guys agree before our final topic. I think it's actually a bit more challenging. But the youngsters don't bring this up, but it's a bit more challenging to have played back then without the advancement of sports science in the 50s and the 60s, double headers, and because you have to play some of your same opponents multiple times in a season, even more so than we do today, Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell had to play each other 22 times in the regular season. Isn't that incredible?
Mm-hmm.
They have to be matched up. So for people saying there was no competition, well, wait a minute. You have to play against the best center in the league 22 times, not to mention another 10-15 against the Willis Reed, a Walt Bellamy. Nobody talks about how great Walt Bellamy was in that era as well. So there was so much talent, Alex, right?
Nate Thurmond, yeah.
Nate Thurmond.
You know, there was a lot of great big guys back then.
And you played without load management.
Right.
That's right.
Right. Yes.
So you didn't have load management. You had old arenas, bad courts, bad ventilation,
transportation,
and then you had the fact that they were playing back to back to back to back sometimes.
Incredible.
We played, Alex. Remember, we would play the 3 in a row occasionally.
3 in a row and a day off, and then you play 2 in a row. So
my gosh!
So you can imagine back in the 50s and 60s.
Brutal.
Yeah, that was just brutal.
And the physicality during the era that we played. You know, I was just at the Retired Players Association past weekend in Vegas, and I was looking at some of the guys. They like Ricky Sobers, and we were just talking about some of the physicality that we had to deal with during that era. And I was 190 pounds.
Sure.
But I would have to guard people like Maurice Lucas, Lonnie Shelton, you know, guys just powerful, and they would just beat me like a rag. So my job was to get away from them as quick as I could. So that's why you saw me running.
You did that well. You did that well. Then when you read stories or read books about the 50s and 60s in the NBA, which was the toughest time.
Sure.
No doubt.
Sure.
Doesn't compare to when we played. There were always fights.
Right.
Yeah.
Not like, I'm not fights, not just pushing, just literally going at it, fighting. And I think that's a totally different element. I think that's downplayed. That part of
I did a project in high school about an unsung hero, off the court and on the court. Arguably was going to be one of the all-time greats. He preceded Bill Russell in the NBA by a year. It was Maurice Stokes. What happened to him? And then Jack Twyman, his teammate, who took him in. And what a story that was. I mean, when you think about that, there's a very, very unheralded film called Maurice about his life. And he was paralyzed, essentially, from the neck down. He had a seizure. He had 2 seizures on the plane in Minneapolis. The other story that never gets told, speaking of Minneapolis, is how an entire team, the closest we've ever seen a sports franchise from perishing, was what happened in the sky in Minneapolis when the Laker plane couldn't land. It had to land in the snow. It had to find some sort of snow patch. It couldn't find anywhere to land, and last minute somehow did. This was when Elgin Baylor was playing in Minneapolis before they moved to LA, of course. But there's so many stories from that era, Sidney and Alex, you're right, stories that need to be told, I think. So there's no doubt about that. And guys, right now what we'll tell is our final topic. This will be a story we tell right now momentarily. And I will ask, it's okay, Mr. Sidney Moncrief, who again, thank you both for being here. If I don't say this enough, I want to stop time for a quick second and say thank you both for being who you are. I don't do anything scripted when we're here, and you guys are both so present. You're so aware of where you are, and that really is mindful and thoughtful, and I appreciate you both for being such thoughtful human beings. It means a lot to me. So thank you.
Thank you for being a great facilitator to know when we stumble how to pick us back up.
Oh, you don't stumble.
That's an art.
You definitely don't stumble. Topic number 2. Freedom is a song, and I'll set it up for our viewers because Sidney and Alex have the topic. Sidney, if heaven had its own national anthem, what would its title be and why? If you walk through the pearly gates of heaven for the first time, who would you like to see first as this national anthem is playing and why? So what would the national anthem of heaven be and why? And who would you like to see upon walking through the pearly gates of heaven for the first time as this is playing? Whenever you'd like, my friend, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, I know what song they would probably be playing for me, and that would be "Get the Hell Back to Hell." They wouldn't let me in, but certainly, probably I would like to see maybe my mom. That would be good to see her. And my song, which is a really simple song written by Paul Anka, and my song would be "I Did It My Way," because that's been my theme. It's been my subtle theme when I was younger. As I've gotten older, I've embraced the fact that just be who you are. Live life like you want to live life. Do the things you want to do. Live your best life. Do it your way. Don't blame others when you don't succeed. Take advice when it's necessary to take advice. But at the end of the day, do it your way. And that would be the song I would want to be played.
I
did it my way, by Blue Eyes.
Mr. Frank Sinatra. Yeah.
Mr.
Hoboken's finest. Yeah.
Chairman of the board, as they say.
Yes, sir. Yeah. It's so amazing that you brought that up. And, you know, our parents, to some degree, we appreciate them when they're here. Of course we do. But when you're speaking of your mom, Bernice, there's so much to be said about our parents and what we like to think they're doing when they're not here in this physical realm. I definitely think they're proud of you, Sidney. I think your mom is really proud of you because
yes.
There's no doubt that she is. Is their pride necessary for our progress? Our parents believing in us, our parents giving us the proverbial pat on the back, does that drive us even when they're not here?
Also, I think I would want to see her because I would want her to know that she'd probably say, "I can't believe you made it."
Wow. Yeah. I think she did. I think she did.
Joke about that. But I think that.
Does that push us?
Yeah, it does. It does. Could I read a passage from this song real
quick?
Please,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Alex, you know the song. You're a writer. I mean, you know but it's the most powerful song I think ever. And there's a part in it. It says, "Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew.
Wow.
But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all. I stood tall. I did it my way." Wow.
Great verse.
Yeah, it's a great, and the song just has that all throughout the challenges, and it is very important with your parents, because I think the essence of who we are comes down to who not only conceived us, but also it could be someone that is not our biological mother or father, and we always want. We want, Alex said it kind of earlier, we want them to feel proud of us. We want that identification. My dad used to always, when we would go somewhere, he would always say, "These are the Moncrief boys."
Right.
There was a sense of pride.
Yeah.
Of us being his sons. Now, the problem with that, Daz, is he didn't say that about the daughters, back then.
Right.
Back then, everything was so slanted towards boys because you want the legacy and the name to carry on. And there was a certain pride that went with that. My mom had more of a subtle pride. She probably would never say, "This is my son, Sidney, that played in the NBA or played at University of Arkansas." She wouldn't even tell people that. And so you wanted certainly for her to feel proud of what you did and how you did it.
And all the things that you've done. I have to bring this up. You know, when I think of Sheffield Nelson, who came from a non-affluent background, when he resigned from his company to pursue a political career, he sponsored you, Sidney, as his replacement on the board. And I have to mention this as well. You've done so much for so many people. Even Bill Clinton had joked at a fundraiser for the benefit of Little Rock's Smith College. The only comfort he had in having the smallest governor's salary in the nation is that it might stop Sidney Moncrief from running against him.
Yes. Well, I've had so many, and impact is so important. That's why, remember I said little things matter, acts matter, act of kindness, all those things, they carry on. I just want to share that my junior high school coach passed last week.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And we know how coaches are to us. And he was really my first coach because back then you didn't play basketball in elementary school, or if you did, you didn't have an organized teams.
Sure.
And he was my first coach. He was 93 years old, lived a great life. But Coach Johnny Greenwood, a shout out to his family because he was he was the coach that forced me, Alex. You said you were small. I was even smaller. Ninth grade, not a lot of confidence, really skinny kid. The minutes, not very good basketball skills. And I remember him telling me, "Sidney, I'm going to have you put on this weight jacket. I want you to practice. I want you to run in it. I want you to do everything in the weight jacket." Now, back then, the weight jackets were not tight and form-fitting like they are now. They were just baggy, and I was small, and I would be trying to rebound. This jacket would be bouncing around. Everything I did.
Sure.
But he had a vision of making me stronger and having me gain more confidence. And I resented wearing the jacket because it was an inconvenience. But I did it because back then you did what the coach told you to do.
Wow.
But it made all the difference in me as a basketball player moving forward. So I want to give him a shout out.
It's beautiful
as he transitioned into a different
That's
part of
like
his life.
such a great way of analyzing great coaching is that the players may not see the fundamental necessity of it until later on.
That's right. That's right.
They gain wisdom later on for that. Yeah, that's beautiful. I will ask the same question to Mr. Alex English that I asked Mr. Sidney Moncrief. This topic I call Freedom is a Song. If Heaven, Alex, had its own national anthem, what would its title be and why? And upon walking through the pearly gates of heaven for the first time, who would you like to see first as this national anthem is playing and why? My friend, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Well, Avi, in this question, I had a tough time because, there are two songs that I know that kind of say the same, but they say it differently, and they say it with different rhythm and with the rhythm of life. And the first one is called "Heaven" by BB and CC Winans. And like Sidney, I would like to be able to quote some of the words. That way you get a better of what I'm talking about. It's now that it's over, no more use for guns and war. It cost me a lifetime just to gain this life's rewards. Oh, my brother, please come with me. It's what I live for, a place where love will never cease. Willing to die for, yeah, heaven is where I want to be. That was BB and CC Winans, and then the one that's the national anthem, I think for all of us, is the song "Imagine" by John Lennon, and it says, "Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no country. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one. And I imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, but a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. And again, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And I hope someday you will join us and the world will live as one. I think those and just those two songs they personify what I think the world should be about, uh, and the rewards that we get. I mean, heaven being heaven, that's the reward, and a utopian life on earth where we all live together in peace and we don't see color. We don't let religion stop us from living with each other. And we just live good quality lives. And when we can do that, when we can take all those distractions away, and you put your mind and your mind, your thoughts to uh, making the world a better place, I think we are on our way to heaven.
That's so beautiful. It makes me smile because I feel like for this brief moment of time, and we are departing now, guys. We're finished. I'm gonna have if Sydney's okay with it, and Alex, maybe just a quick, very brief message to our viewers to pick them up on a tough day. But I think of this being heaven now, in the sense that we're stopping time, we're acknowledging where we are now. Of course, in a few minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, tomorrow, the next day, the next week, we're on to other activities and pursuits. But for this brief moment of time, I would rather be nowhere else. I'm glad I'm here with both of you gentlemen. And when Alex, absolutely, when you both enlighten me, I'm thinking about how it's not about knowing things, it's about learning things. And how much I appreciate the present now, because you guys have made it a soft place to land. We can land in the present. We don't have to land somewhere else down the road. We're here, and it's such a beautiful thing. Alex, if I can, I'll give you a solo layout just to give our viewers any kind of kind words. But before you depart, Alex, anything you'd like to let Sidney know? The floor is yours.
Well, I want Sidney to know that I appreciate him and how he has lived his life and what he does. every now and then, he may not know this, but every now and then he'll send me a text and say, "Hey, what's going on?" I
Right.
appreciate that. I know you're doing good, positive stuff for the world, and that's so important. For you to use your platform to do what you do, and I hope to one day be able to take part in what you're doing and be able to share it with the world. You're going to send me that quote that you talked about earlier, and I will share that with my campus next week.
Yeah. And thank you, Alex. And Arby, I'm putting you on the spot. Progresso, great soup, good company. The 30 for 30, I want to have one in Alex's town.
All
Sure.
right.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd love that. I think that's beautiful.
That would be
And you know what,
very
guys?
powerful.
Here they are. I want to give them a shout out again. Progresso Soup, guys. They will get a plug right after Sidney and Alex depart for what they do for us. Sidney, consider that done, my friend. Sidney,
Yes.
guys and gals, I'm going to put you backstage for one brief moment. If you'd like to tell our viewers anything right after Alex, my friend, the floor will be yours. And Alex, again, anything you'd like to tell our viewers solo, the floor is yours, my friend. Anything you'd like to tell our viewers?
Well, I think I've said it all, Avi. I
Sure.
shared just by the questions that you gave me, what you gave me or allowed me to share. That's me, and I am thankful and grateful that I got this opportunity. And of course, I would love to be able to win the prize, but if I don't, I got a chance to see and to be a part of something that's going to be very, very positive, and got an opportunity to be on this show with the great Sidney Moncrief and the great Avi. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to maybe being on another show.
Thank you, my friend. I want to tell you this without these things on my face, these sunglasses. Your presence is a present. It's a real gift. And thank you for being who you are, because I respect you wholeheartedly and what you stand for, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
I hope you have a blessed day and weekend.
Thank you, Avi.
Thank you. The great Alex English. I'm going to bring in Mr. Sidney Moncrief. But Sidney, what a joy it is to be able to sit here and peel back the layers and sit and speak to you and Alex and get to learn from both of you, because you have so much sage advice. And I know that a lot of it could be wrapped in humor. The best way sometimes is
Yes.
Alex's poetry and your humor and us being able to find ways to connect with people. I don't look at you and Alex as basketball Hall of Famers, because obviously if I did, we'd all be in awe of what you've done. Your resume is outstanding and second to none. And that's not just the pro game. People should look up the college game as well. But when it comes to getting to know you and what you stand for, I mean, I'll let our audience know because you won't say this, but you are recovering from something right now. And you make no qualms about the fact that you are going to be here no matter what. And, you're here with a smile on your face. And that says a lot about you, the things that go unsaid. So thank you for being a class act.
Thank you. Yes, I'm still in the end of my recovery mode.
Sure.
And I just felt so bad that I couldn't be there when I said I was going to be there. For me, your word means everything. And thanks for your patience. And I want to encourage. I want to leave the viewers with this.
Sure. Yes.
Find a way to perform acts of kindness as much as fits your spirit. But before you do that, you must be mindful of what's always going on around you, where you can say, oh, I can step in here, or I can make a comment here, or I can encourage this person here. That's our challenge. That's our goal, not our challenge. This is something we are going to do every day. Think of a way to perform an act of kindness.
And they say that words can lie, but the body never does. And through your body language, through your demeanor, this is why it's a visual medium that we have here. Because again, I think I've heard a lot of people say this, and I concur. Everything you stand for speaks to me because it's honest. There is a no BS approach about you, which either people can take, people cannot take. But if they decide to take what you can provide, they're going to learn, because you're going to be very direct and honest and truthful no matter what. And I appreciate you for that. It's such a rare quality to have. I consider you a friend already, and I'm here for you no matter what you need. Anything that you need, I'm right there for you as a friend. I can't wait to be able to one day shake your hand. That's the ultimate sign of respect. Look you in the eye and shake your hand and say, Sidney, thank you for touching so many lives.
Yeah, we're gonna have you come out when we do this deal in Columbia. I'm sorry.
I would love
No,
to.
seriously, you need to be there. So we'll work on that.
I'd love to.
All right. Uh-huh.
And I have to ask
All
you
right.
this too before you depart, really quickly. Alex English. I know you guys play different positions. How difficult was Alex to guard on the court?
I couldn't guard him. No, seriously. I was the defensive player of the year, but that's above my pay grade. As people say, but first of all, he's 6'9".
Right.
But he's always moving.
Right.
You don't find a lot of 6'9" guys. You can just pretty much say they're going to be here. I could be here,
Right.
and then go to sleep and take a nap for a while.
Well, in my opinion, Mount Rushmore of great two-way players is one Mr. Sidney. You had a nice time tonight, my friend. You had a good time.
I had a great time. I sure did. Had an outstanding time. So I appreciate that. We're doing a camp next week in Colorado.
Yes.
And I have all my sons, my grandkids will be with me in Vail, Colorado for the city of Vail. So I'm really you've given me a good kickoff because I have to drive 15 hours tomorrow.
My gosh.
From Dallas to Vail, Colorado.
Well, to Progresso Soup, I hope you guys understand. We will be in touch with Sidney very soon. He has a great cause that would speak to you, and I can't wait to be able to collaborate together further. My friend, you have a great rest of the weekend.
Thank you. I will. All right. Thank you.
Thank
Harvey.
you.
Take care.
You too, my friend. The great Sidney Moncrief, guys. What a great human being. Alex English and Sidney, to be able to show us the person behind the persona, right? I always bring that up, how important it is to able to get to know the person behind the persona, and they definitely gave us a slice of humanity, and I appreciate that. Guys, they both said something I hope you take away. Learn to accept people for who they are rather than rage against who you think they ought to be. It's not about perceiving someone one way. It's about accepting them every way. Every way. You may not agree with it, but we have to accept people. And I think that is the first step. What makes you stand taller? What makes you stand prouder? Sometimes it's not the riches and spoils in the world. The best thing I think that we can ever do to ourselves or for ourselves is to appreciate ourselves and the other people around us, and it's going to be contagious. So double down on your happiness, double down on your positivity, and I guarantee you that at the end of the day, it isn't about knowing things. It's about learning things. And I thank Sidney and I thank Alex for teaching us a lot about a lot.
Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
I have to agree with that last statement. They definitely taught us a lot about a lot. Miranda, what did you learn tonight?
Oh my gosh. Well, these are two amazing men. Well, three amazing men with Avi, of course. This was just amazing. I really love this second topic so much. It was very touching, for sure. It was really, really touching. What about you, Giselle?
Oh goodness. I loved all of the words that came out of their mouths and how much they're aware and want us to be aware of their presence and what's happening in the world and in the rooms you're in on a small scale, on a global scale.
Yeah.
Kindness matters, actions matter. And again, finding out what's important to them and what makes them, hey, Christine, hey, Sal, what makes them want to continue on and want to live and strive for each
I have
and every
to do this, okay? Yeah. Hey, Sass, you remember that game? You remember that trading card game? Remember flipping off the card? Everyone loved the photos of those basketball cards when we grew up as kids in the 90s. Everyone loved those pictures. Patrick Ewing, Duncan, Michael Jordan with his layups. But when you flip the cards over, you'd see statistics. Points, rebounds, assists, everything. Who won every single one of those games? Who won every challenge, every statistical challenge? Sass knows the answer to that. Alex English did.
Wow.
If you know, you know. We know.
We know.
And now we all do.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And now we all know. Howard, what about you? What did you learn tonight?
Oh my God. I'm just gonna speak from my heart. You guys know me, I'm a pretty emotional guy. It's been a beautiful show. I mean, these guys are talking about, how do we connect as human beings? We live in a world where there's a lot of disconnection. There's a lot of hate, a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, a lot of fear, things I personally always, identify with. And I think our viewers, our amazing viewers, we have three gentlemen who are talking about, us as human beings. How do we connect better? How do we listen to each other better? How do we love better? And as Avi says, I'd rather be sappy than cynical. But I'd rather just, speak from the heart than, not, and say that, being here 5 years, there's so much that you go through, in your own life, and in the course of a week, in the course of a day, and you sit back and you listen to what's going on and you're witnessing, and this show sometimes it connects you with yourself, and sometimes the things you look at you don't want to look at, and the things that are there are also beautiful, right? We got to learn to also connect with the darkness, because we have that within ourselves, and we got to embrace it as well. And that darkness could sometimes, make a beast of you. That darkness could also, when conquered, embraced, and shown some love and light, brings out the best in you. And I just also want to say, it's been awesome watching all these amazing comments, the Allisons, Dakota. You guys also, the engine, make so much. I know it sounds cliche, but you guys do make the momentum, the spiritual engine and the love of this show go forward. So also I thank you for you. So it's been a phenomenal show. Obviously amazing topics as always, but that's my speaking from my heart, man. Love you guys.
Oh, that's so nice, Howard.
Take a minute to thank everybody here by name, because you guys deserve to hear your names and then some. Willie Wilson, thank you so much for joining us, man. Appreciate your positivity. Sal, thank you for being consistent, brother. Appreciate you. Dakota, welcome back, my friend. You're all heart. You've got a great soul. Say hi to your mom, Christy. She's also been part of this engine for a long time. She's awesome as well. Power Store, absolutely. We appreciate you behind the scenes and in front of the camera. Classy Times, your name says it all. Thank you for being just that. Power Store, again, great energy here. To all those that were with us earlier, Jacques Rougeau, formerly known as the Mountie and the fabulous Rougeau brothers, a great friend of mine. A lot of these guys and gals and pals, they're not friends because they're celebrities, guys and gals and pals. That's not how it works. You guys are my celebrities because you're friends. You guys in the comment section are my celebrities, and I mean that when I say that, because let's break down that word, right? We celebrate each other here, and we do it in a good way. Yeah, we do it. The thing about this comment section is, somebody asked me the other day from our sponsor, these people, do they know each other? It seems like, and I said, 90% of them have never met. 90% of our viewers have never met each other. Yeah. I got 50% of the green room for a while hadn't met each other either. But
yeah,
I'll tell you, it's amazing to see you guys come together. It starts with a hello. How are you? How you doing? And then you start communicating with each other. This is a place where strangers leave as friends, but it doesn't just happen exclusively on screen. It happens also in the comment section. You guys are incredible. I really appreciate what you guys bring to the table. And I want to say this as well. This is easily, I've taught in different classrooms, but this is the funnest classroom. This is the only classroom I look forward to returning to every Wednesday and Saturday night. That's when we broadcast, Wednesday and Saturday. I look forward to turning that knob, opening that door, and being here with you guys. It's fun. I have so much fun. And I'm learning a lot from you guys. I started the broadcast by saying those three words, I don't know. I don't know. And I like not knowing, because not knowing is way more enjoyable than knowing, because that could be a lonely place. I mean, what's the point of living if you know everything, right? So thanks for teaching us as much as you have. I just want to dedicate this segment to you guys, because you're not just typing, and that's why we're interacting with you in the comment section, because all of your points earlier, Hillary was there, all of you guys, everyone watching right now, 1,600, a lot that don't like to comment, that's fine. Just to name a few, William Reese, there's so many of you guys that don't comment, but you watch the show. A lot of the celebrities do as well. And the reason why I appreciate all of you guys being here in attendance is not because of some number or metric that makes our dream a reality or it gets us closer to some finish line. I hate to break it to you, I don't want to reach a finish line. I don't want to. I want to obviously have a show that can reach more people, and Prime can help us accomplish that. I want to have a sponsor that can help some of these guys and gals make a living doing this. We're trying. There's no guarantee. But I'll tell you something. The reason why I do this is because in 2025, we've been told that we can't get along. We've been told that our differences are the only similarities we should hang our hats on. That's a bunch of bullshit. There is nothing more refreshing than seeing how similar we are, despite the surface level differences that we're told make or break us, but they don't. They don't make or break us. Kindness, simplicity, laughter, joy, unity, all those words, that's what this place epitomizes. And so to echo Howard's sentiments, speaking from the heart, I love that we get to do this again and again. It always has a season finale vibe about it, right? Like we're speaking from the heart, and we're crying, and we're having fun, and we're laughing. But that's what I love about this thing, is that it's a gift that keeps on giving every single week. And that's why, to those watching, if you are, those I've been emailing all day long, like I do every Saturday, that's why this is a live experience. It's great to replay. Watch it again. Sure, please. We want your friends and family to watch it if they're, doing stuff on Saturday night. I don't know. Not everyone's here. Not everyone can be here. That RV guy, I don't know where he is, but I'll tell you something. Watching this thing live is one heck of an experience. So before Miranda and Giselle give us their thoughts, let's stay in this place. Would you guys concur that TKN is one hell of a live experience? Please, jump in.
Ooh, absolutely. There is nothing like watching this live. There's an electricity. There's an excitement. Sure, you can always go back and see who advanced, who's moving on, what the topics were. But being there live and putting your comments in, reacting to what the competitors are saying on screen in real time, voting, having that say in who is advancing, that's huge. You help provide the energy that we all take and give back. And so it becomes this circle of, I don't know, what's another word for electricity and energy?
Love, I don't know. Circle of love.
TKN is another word for circle energy.
TKN. It becomes this giant circle of TKN each and every week, and it's so great to see and experience. Miranda, what do you think about live and experiencing this live, watching it live week in and week out, twice a week now even?
I know. Yeah, there's definitely nothing better than watching it live. It's just like if you went to a basketball game and watched it live, the energy is just different, and you can, comment, you can vote, you can talk to people in the comments. A lot of people are talking to each other and making connections in the comments. I always say it's a party in the comment section. Everyone's having fun together, and we're talking to them as well. And we're vibing, and we're grooving, right? So I mean,
it's moving.
We were dancing and singing and moving, yeah. So there's nothing better than experiencing it live. But of course, if you can't, watch it on YouTube.
Guys, again, hello, Real Soul Product as well. Guys, listen here. So scheduled, if you watch the Black Box on Wednesday night, first off, I want to say this. Giselle was going to bring this up, but of course she's getting her game face on, Miranda as well. I want to say this, though, real quick. NHL Hall of Famer. You might have caught some technical stuff that happened briefly. Our NHL Hall of Famer's been trying to sign in for 2 separate matchups. Couldn't happen. I'm not responsible for somebody else's tech, but it's not their fault either. Life happens. Either way, this is a tournament. You heard Alex and Sidney. They went full circle. This is like a pickup basketball game for the mind. That's why I call it a sport of the mind. And I don't mind reminding you that, yes, this is a sport. And you could shake your opponent's hands. Hey, Sass and I used to play basketball. Carmine's in the comment section. Carmine, I remember how you shut down Rich years ago. But we played basketball a lot. And I'll tell you something. Once the game is on, hey, there is no love lost at all, and that's fine. Once the game is over, it's all love. But once that game actually tips off, the spirit of competition takes over. This is a sport of the mind. The mind's a muscle. We lead with respect, of course. But everybody does want to win this thing. So, as a result, You heard Alex, you heard Sidney. And guys, here's the thing. They're not getting paid. I'm blunt. I could just say that. No one's getting paid here. They're doing this because they love this thing.
Yeah.
They're doing this because they believe in this thing. And they want to come back because they realize, A, the sheer size of this thing is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, right now, 154 Hall of Famers from the world of sports, music, wrestling, not to mention Oscar, Grammy, Tony, Emmy, Golden Globe, AMA, WGA, and Olympians all competing for the pride of the prize, but it's not merely the size. Guys, I got to tell you, everybody wants to win, but at the end of the day, ask the reason why. They got 15 grand, they've got that. 5-day trip to Greece is nice, but they want to win because what this thing stands for. There's never been anything like this. This is the largest celebrity tournament, not just online, but recorded in history. Which means that as 2025 gives way into 2026, there's going to be more press and more media, and just we're going to get this out there even more to have people experience what you're experiencing. And, of course, the NHL Hall of Famer did not experience that, which is why maybe, just maybe, another lifeline for another match. We'll see. But in the meantime, Alex English advances to round 3 of the TKN Celebrity Tournament. And Sidney Moncrief advances to round 3 of the Celebrity Tournament. Eliminations have been happening, guys, across the board. If you watch our show Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, there's a different competition, albeit a lot smaller. But, man, oh, man, it's the Wild West of TKN. I call it the Black Box. It is the Celebrity Team Challenge. We have TKN hosts like Miranda and Howard and Giselle all teaming up. Howard's got his teammate in that tournament, Jacques Rougeau. Giselle's got the great former NBA owner and GM Pete Babcock. Miranda, film and TV great Cindy Pickett. So they're teaming up with celebrities on Wednesday night. And this past Wednesday, Miranda, Howard, and Giselle all represented their teams in a 5-way matchup. Miranda and Giselle tied each other. So they were supposed to have their matchup take place tonight. But due to time constraints, because we have an outro, we're at 2 hours and 21 minutes, their matchup will continue on Wednesday. Of course, the winner of that will immediately have to do a bit of a doubleheader because they'll be inserted into the finals of that match on Wednesday. What am I talking about if you don't watch Wednesday night? Watch Wednesday night, you'll know. But also, check out our YouTube channel that you're on right now. Click videos. This is the live section. As you can see, the last 4 to 5 videos we've had are almost 1 million views total if you add up the last 4 to 5 episodes of the TKN Celebrity Tournament second round in the live section. But guys, if you love this, please, it takes 4 to 5 days to produce one of these things. It's grueling in a good way, but man, oh man, it takes buckets of sweat and a lot of passion. Please get this in front of your friends and family and your enemies. They'll be your friends afterwards. But I guarantee you guys, make sure they subscribe. Make sure they like. It's free to do so. We don't shill all the time. We talk about the matchups, the moments. Get this in front of people. Get them in the comment section. YouTube, guys and gals, YouTube's like that strict father and mother you had. You know, they have these certain rules and regulations you got to follow. So get them to do this. It's going to help us. Comment even when the show's not on. Comment on a Sunday, on a Monday, on a Tuesday. There's videos everywhere. Just click videos and shorts and live. Comment, like, and subscribe and get it in front of your people. It will mean the world to us. This will remain absolutely free. That's why I call it a free preview. Hey, it's long. Why shouldn't it be long, right? Why condense our thoughts? I'm not into the short form. I'm into the long form. But guess what, guys? Again, if you're into this show, get everybody else involved. The celebrities, of course. Where else are you going to see the combination of some of these guys? I mean, look at some of the people who have been on screen together. Some who haven't seen each other in years, like Alex and Sidney. Some who never met each other. There's so much going on in this network. And again, it is free. It's an event. It's not a podcast. It starts with some pomp and circumstance, the video, the introductions, but then we settle into substance. That's what we do over here. Get this in front of everybody if you want to see more. And I guarantee you guys and gals and pals, we will appreciate it. Regardless, we appreciate you inviting us into your living room. So, guys and gals, I'm excited. 1,445 watching live right now. And remember, keep subscribing because we're close to 80,000 subscribers in just 20 months, which is amazing. We are happy about that. And we're just about at the 5 million view mark. Just about. We've got some videos. Once we hit 5 million, we might show you some of our thoughts about reaching 5 million this Wednesday. Got some videos and thoughts from our TKN hosts. Anything you guys want to say before we kick it to the outro? I'm pumped up right now. Miranda, your thoughts?
I'm very pumped. This is great. Everybody, thank you for watching. And like Avi said, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But just thank you for being here because it's just amazing that you're allowing us into your lives and your hearts, minds, living rooms, everything. So we really appreciate it. And Wednesday is going to be fire.
You got Giselle on Wednesday. Do you want to wave the white flag, Miranda, at all? Or? She's
No.
So.
No, I mean, I can't say I'm not a little nervous. Giselle is a very good competitor, but there's no way I'm going to back down on that. I was ready tonight, but I'm going to be ready Wednesday. I'll be ready whatever day you want to throw me in there. I'm ready.
Giselle, Miranda's a Green Room original. Do you want to wave the white flag? She's been here. She's seen everything. Yes.
If I wanted to wave the white flag, I wouldn't be here tonight. I wouldn't be in this competition at all. May I remind you, I was the first person to advance to round number 3, which is why you need to keep watching the black box, because that is where all the action happens. Prizes are given out. Other competitions are happening. I am here to win. I want to be on top of this field. Like 150 plus luminaries, 153 Hall of Famers and major award winners and celebrities, and all of the TKN hosts and Avi. Yeah.
Well,
that would.
It's gonna be fire. I can't predict this thing. I know the topic already. They're not gonna know till Wednesday. Guys, Howard Collado, of course, he's gonna be in the finals of that match with Phil on Wednesday. Howard, any preference, Miranda or Giselle?
You know, I just want to see a good competition. I want to see a good fight, so to speak. And I know these guys, and I'm not just saying this because they're here. I've seen what they're capable of doing, and I am looking forward to it because I know they're both going to challenge each other. And I think we, the audience, are going to be made the better for it, watching what these.
Well, Phil's talking a little junk about you, Howard. So, what about Phil? You got him as well.
Phil, you need to, dude. By the way, 0-3. Okay, keep that in mind as well. You're 0-3 from the lady up there. All right.
She's up 3-0 in that series. So
she's up 3-0, and you, Phil, are down 0-3. So that close to being.
Well, do you guys agree? I never asked you this. I call it a sport of the mind. Really quickly, again, I know I keep saying that. I want to get to the intro, to the outro. What makes this a sport for you? We know about the camaraderie. We know about the respect. We know that this is a place where strangers do leave as friends. What about this makes it a sport for you?
Well, like you said, sport of the mind, right? So sports get you moving. They get you running, playing with other people, working as teams as well. So it is a sport. It's an intellectual sport because we have our teams on the Celebrity Team Challenge, right? Where either way in both tournaments, we're expanding our minds, we're moving our synapses or neurons, whatever you want to call them, and we're thinking and we're coming up with ideas and all that good stuff. So
Giselle,
there's strategy, there's skill, there's every little element that you need to play a sport or play a game. It just becomes more cerebral and intellectual, and this takes a ton of stamina as well. Do not think that just because we are standing or sitting in our offices, in our living rooms, in our bedrooms, in our houses, that being on air, having these conversations, researching these topics don't take a ton of stamina, because they do. So we're taking these traits we often associate with physicality and we're moving them inward a little bit to our mind. So I think sport of the mind is the perfect explanation. It's concise and it encompasses exactly what these tournaments are all about.
Collado?
Right.
Wednesday nights, sometimes we don't get the topics. We get the topics in real time right there. So you
I don't know. Well, hold on. No, let me retract that. Sometimes you guys never.
I'm sorry. We never. I'm sorry.
Never.
We never get the topics at all on Wednesday nights. And so you have to be quick. You got to be sharp. You got to make your arguments, make sure that you put words and thoughts together in a way that makes sense, that there's conviction, and that there is clarity. Oh, and by the way, you have to win if you want to. Right?
Organize your thoughts, lead with substance, and connect with our audience, guys. That's what we have to do here, and we do it honestly. That's the whole thing about it. We lead with truth and honesty. Adolfo, you need a strong mind, Giselle, as well, without question. And of course, you have it. So do you guys. What's this comment? This is a comment here that I think is great. Power Store. You all have to come up with things on the fly. Once you receive the topic on Wednesdays, you certainly do. Leaves you wanting more. Thank you, Dakota. We appreciate you, brother. Appreciate that. And that's why we're not having this match again, because if we did, we'd probably end it at 3 hour and 20-minute mark, 3 hour and 10-minute mark, with the outro as well. We don't want to do that. There's one more thing I do want to let you guys know, especially everyone who's watching. Suits and Ties out there, you guys know that I affectionately call you that, Suits and Ties. Miranda's on screen. Giselle's on screen. Howard's on screen. They do a ton. They do a ton in front of the camera. They do a ton behind the scenes. They are incredible storytellers, incredible hosts. They have their own shows. They're multifaceted. They are. If the engine in the comment section makes this thing go, then behind the scenes, this is the foundation. This is the foundation you're looking at right here. One leg that's missing makes the table go splat. And we need all of those legs to keep this thing up. Howard, Giselle, Kelly White, of course, Phil, Justin. Oh, God, every single person there, Peaceful Pete, all of them, all the ones you see on screen. They're not just hosts. They're not just storytellers. And they're not just friends. I've got a lot of them. But you know what? The ones who are here are the ones that had something that I saw years ago, for whatever reason. They didn't know each other, in case you're wondering. Giselle and Howard did. But for the most part, the Green Roomers didn't really know one another. I've known Pete since 1996. I've known Kelly for only about 3 years. I've known Howard since, 25 years now, going on 25 years. Giselle I've known for about maybe 4. Miranda I've known for close to a decade. Phil, I got Phil actually. Phil suppressed me during my film After the Life. It was on 54th between 8th and Broadway. That's where we cast. And he was one of like 400 people that auditioned. And, you know, again, so the Green Roomers, just to give you some context, these are men and women that didn't really come to me. They didn't really know what this was years ago when it started. But I came to them because I saw something special that they had. And when it comes to some stuff in front of the camera, I've got friends who I know personally who want to get on screen. I tell them, guys, this isn't a hobby. This is my life. This is a passion. This is the equivalent of a television show. We are producing live TV. That's what we're doing. And, you know, again, I announced it with Prime earlier. I said their name. I'm glad to say their name again. What they're doing right now to help us, what Progressive's doing to help us right now, they see this. And they also see a lot of shows out there as well that are streaming on YouTube as a show they can market, as a show that has a built-in audience, as a show that already has a sponsor in the case of Progresso. They love all that. But this is the new world. This is the Wild West. AI, of course, and softwares. This is 2025. People now are abandoning traditional ways of watching TV, and they're watching us right now. And we're happy they are, because it's one thing to have an idea, but can you have a business plan to follow that idea? It's one thing to have a concept, but does it stand out? Is it different? And we're glad that this is different. So when someone looks at us and says, you're different, I smile and go, you better believe we are. Hell yeah, we are. I don't want to be the same. I want to be different, not for the sake of it, but I want to offer an alternative, something that is this and is that and is so many different things, right? It's great to know that you guys can start describing this when you're sending me messages and telling me, like Johnny did the other day, I described TKN as such and such. It's great that you guys are being able to really sink your teeth into what this stands for. I appreciate that. Well, you are too, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, Adolfo. This is better than a TV show. You're always welcome, brother. I appreciate you. Absolutely. You guys are awesome. I met Phil driving my Harley back in the day. I think it was a Wednesday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Remember the day.
There's a deleted comment from Sal back in 1862. Yeah, I remember that. Back in the day, Mr. Donnie went round 1 during the year 1. All right, I won't get biblical there, but thank you. Guys, outro time. All right, we got an amazing match. When you see the black box match for this Wednesday, you're going to see either Giselle or Miranda on screen, but it's official. They will both be part of that match and line up on Wednesday night as well. And, of course, you'll find out who will be facing who next Saturday night, because this is the final lap, guys. This is the final lap of round number 2. There are way more names in round 3 and way more people eliminated than those left in round 2, which means we are nearing the final lap. Am I right, Giselle, Howard, Miranda? Are you guys excited?
Ooh, it's going to be good.
Guys and gals and pals, it is, what time is it, Howard? It is
outro time.
Obsession's going to be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed? Is it all you ever think about?
We're sorry you still have cancer. So I was depressed. I went through all kinds of feelings. I had to go through 8 weeks of radiation, feeling sorry for myself. Well, I saw some folks that were going through chemotherapy. I realized I had nothing to complain about with those folks going through that.
I got along okay with Andre. He hated to be an irritable giant, but it was a lonely life for a guy like that. I mean, even Hulk Hogan didn't disguise himself. No matter where Andre goes, people are like, oh, he has trouble fitting on the airplanes, has trouble getting into cars. It was a tough life. So, yeah, if you got him on a bad mood, it was going to be a rough day at the office.
I would think at a president or a politician, if they would just be humble enough to go, you know what, I got that wrong. I was wrong. How far they would probably go with votes, how that would resonate with people.
Same DNA of hip hop itself, who thought about putting two turntables together? You work with what you had. Some of them were admirers of ballet and modern dance, but modern dance didn't fit into the beat that you would hear in what would be eventually called a hip hop record or rap record.
If you're listening to this, that must mean you're alive, and life changes. And if we're going to change, we have to adapt or die. That's the way I feel about life. Life changes, and we're going to have to adapt because everything changes. And life is changing. We got to adapt, or we're not going to make it.
And I was co-starring with Burt Lancaster in a film with Robert Aldrich directing, and he said, "Kid, you don't want to be a leading man. You'll be washed up at 30.
Right.
Your career will be over. Be a character actor. Do the supporting roles. Play the doctors and the lawyers and the Indian chiefs, and you can raise a family in this town."
Right.
And so I told him, mind your own business.
I love experiences, and that is something that nobody can take away. It's something that you carry with you the rest of your life. And my thought was a skydive with St. Francis to see who might join us on a skydive.
There were so many people that we knew, loved, and admired that didn't make it. And so oftentimes, I would catch myself, well, why the hell am I here? It just seemed so random. But I think it also kind of drives home the point of having a purpose, of being able to speak your truth, be authentic, also to be vulnerable.
That, as Lenny says, you're part of a community, and it's only as a community that you make progress. We tend to overrate individual accomplishments, I think, sometimes in our society, and really it's the team accomplishments that are the most important, and in many cases the most rewarding.
What you said just now was beautiful. You touch chords. You appeal to the poetry in a man. You're inspiring. Oh, come now, you're a woman of the world. You're independent. You must have driven lots of men crazy, huh? Oh, you know what, the sort of man I am, don't you? See through me at a glance, eh?
Yes.
Good! Well, do you like me?
Having had the opportunity to meet Dr. King and seeing how humble he was, and he knew, he got a little glimpse of the future, and he knew what it held, but he wanted still to to be a part of helping America grow and be what it could be.
I knew Bob Pettit was the key guy, so I was going to
Hall
keep
of
him.
Famer, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. I was going to keep him happy, but I knew what he liked to do, where he liked to get the ball, and I thought it was easy for me to get to those areas. I saw the floor. I knew I could get to spots and to work hard to improve things. And the league got better, bigger. We got better coaching as time went on, but I had an opportunity to play against some great players, like we talked about Bob Cousy.
I've worked with some of the most amazing actors, directors, producers. But there's a lot of it, to be honest with you, I didn't even take the time to enjoy. I built homes, big, beautiful homes where I didn't even swim in the pool. I built homes where I didn't even go in the backyard and have a cup of coffee. Because you get on the treadmill of success that you forget about moments in life.
You know, I saw Michael Jackson and Diana Ross in concert, and I was like, where do they live? California? That's where I'm going. And I modeled before, but acting kind of fell in my lap.
Yeah.
I was discovered by a gentleman by the name of Trevor Walton, who says, I think you've got a great look. And I mean, you know, I was like, oh, what? Is there a photo shoot happening somewhere nearby? And he was like, no, I think you should become an actress.
Networks had the women's basketball, the women's baseball, the women's field hockey, the women's lacrosse on. It would be as popular.
I can remember in college saying, like, Dad, if we had show and tell now, I would bring you because you could fix anything. Like, he's the Mr. Fix-It guy. It was so tough when he passed because I thought, ooh, he's my safety net. Like, I could call him for anything, for everything. I think his happiest days were literally taking care of 7 grandkids. Like, when everybody would go away and he got them all, that was his most favorite moments, I think.
WNEW was one of the most popular stations in America. It had Ted Brown and the Redhead. It had amazing disc jockeys, the top of the top of the top. So, some bright-eyed suit decides, hey, we got an all-male station. Why don't we have an all-female station? Now, there's only one trouble with that. If you've kept women out of radio and out of being rock disc jockeys, and you're going to have an all-female rock disc jockey stations, where are they going to come from?
But Boston also was so serious that they did something called gamesmanship.
Mm-hmm.
When other teams would come to play there, they would turn the heat up in their locker rooms.
Yes.
And not give them air conditioning. They were serious. They would do anything they could to win.
But a lot of people also don't know that the regime coming in was told, don't release the hostages yet until we get our man Ronald Reagan in, who was the first president to say, let's make America great again, of which Donald Trump hijacked.
And being considered, you know, the strongest man that ever lived is more important to me than being the strongest in one of the events that I competed against. I've been world champion in 2 of the 3 sports. And it wasn't just about how strong I was, it was about how explosive I was and how athletic I was.
When I was a young man, I would imitate commentators on television and try to emulate their voices and the things that they're saying about what's going on in a basketball game or a football game or even a professional wrestling show.
And my dad looks at me and he goes, "That's the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard in my life." And he says, "The only reason we're in Vietnam?" And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because somebody's making a lot of money." That was right out of my dad. Somebody's making a lot of money.
And Yogi Berra, the great Yankee catcher of old, many of you probably don't even know who he was. He had some great one-liners. And one of them was, "When you come to a Y in the road, take it." And that's kind of how I've lived my life. When I've approached a Y in the road, I take it. And then I don't look back. And I wait until the next Y in the road comes along.
Forgiveness is something that you really have to come to accept. You have to lay down everything, just like Jesus Christ laid down everything, his life for everyone. I'm gonna lay this down and I forgive you.
How do you say something good about a team that's losing repeatedly? I mean, it's hard.
No, I get that.
It's hard to find good stuff. When they were 3-1, I was saying as good stuff I could. And I said this, I even said this. I said, now look, I said, I'm telling y'all, might not believe this. I said they're 3-1. But this is not a real 3-1 team. I can see it. I can see the breakdown about to happen. Yeah. And sure enough, I think they won one game since then.
Yeah, I was actually 6. I was in the first grade, and he woke me up for the 11:30 movie, which was in the middle of the night for me at 6. And he says, "I want you to see a movie." So I got up and I watched. I couldn't believe it was one person playing that man from 19 to 80, and that was the first seed of playing other people.
Sure.
To the point where other people could believe I were those people.
They see us as the smart guys who distribute and sell the miracle of America. And that's exactly what we are. When you have a product with charisma, you don't have to explain a goddamn thing. No. Here you go, hon. You need only bring it to the people. Good catch.
I thought to myself, what if I could picture everything I needed to learn to give it an identity? And from that day to this, that's all I've done. I've done an incredible amount of work, over decades of work, to give an identity to everything that children need to learn so it can be learned in the future, in the near future, as easy as a tree, a cat, a dog, or a horse.
I want to live a normal life. Anybody tries to recruit me, I will never go to that university or college. So kind of that was the beginning. I didn't want to be special. I mean, I didn't want to have special attention. I just want to be a group, part of a group, enjoy my friends, and I played that way.
I went to my grandparents' house. We entered the door, the 2 stairs went up into the kitchen. I walk in and I look to my left, and there it is. The Green Bay Packers are playing on television. Now, it wasn't a big deal the Packers were playing. The big deal was I had never seen football on television. It's the first time I ever saw football on television. I'd been doing that in the backyard and I had just signed up for it. I now had an answer. And I had an answer for what I was going to do, what I wanted to be.
RG3 is better than Luck when you look at the skill set. Now, as far as the interview, the intellect, the IQ, I haven't been able to sit down and talk to them. No, that's vital to teams. You really learn a lot about the passion, they're committed to football. Do they know football? Do they live football? All those things are vital. Those things are going to hinge on the decision too. Let's just assume those are equal to RG3.
We have to remake Love and Basketball. Like Omar Epps, Sanaa Lathan, I thought they did their thing in the movie. But to be able to remake it with Michael Jordan, it would be so realistic.